Hey, it's 6:04 here in the region. Sorry, took us a few minutes to get everything up and running. We want to go right into it with breaking news of the current situation outside.
Roads closed, pipes frozen, albinos virtually invisible. The Weather Service has upgraded Springfield's blizzard from winter wonderland to...
Oh, really? Come on, man.
Oh,
You're ruining the bit, YouTube.
That is it.
Thanks, YouTube.
That is it.
Okay, hang on.
You tried.
No,
One more time.
that's the best part of the bit,
We'll fix
though.
it in post.
No. Okay, so anyway, yeah, it's... hang on, there we go.
Roads closed, pipes frozen, albinos virtually invisible. The Weather Service has upgraded Springfield's blizzard from winter wonderland to a Class 3 kill storm. I like the sound of that Class 3.
Okay, so... Or as we say in the region, it's a 2 loaf of bread, 2 dozen eggs kind of day. We've got e-learning all over the place, so we're putting together that list right now. But I would assume at this point your school probably has e-learning. If it doesn't, that'd be the story. So let us know if your school does not have an e-learning day. Lynette is putting together a list as we speak. Obviously, traffic. Let's take a look at traffic. I'm guessing not good. So let's take a look at that. Let's see here. So traffic slow. Traffic slow and snowy. So pretty much all of the major highways going slow at the moment. I-65, you've got a disabled vehicle, left lane blocked, I-65 south at Ridge, so you've got at least one thing going on. Assume I-65 just apocalyptic. Stay off of I-65. If you're going south, just don't do it. Stay home. Just assume I-65 south, an absolute mess. But so right now that's the big issue right now. Is 65 southbound pretty bad, northbound pretty bad as well. So basically just anywhere 65 north and south, not looking good. All the other roadways looking passable. We've got an incident. We've got an earlier incident on the Bishop Ford inbounds. Got things slowed down in the Dalton area, probably right up there on the bridge. That can be a little tricky if it snowed up there. But Chicago road's looking a little bit better than ours. I mean, obviously the story was that we were getting like a snow hurricane or something was coming.
Thunder snow.
Thunder snow bearing down on the region. So Chicagoland largely spared basically any road along the lake. So you've got the Dan Ryan, Bishop Ford, Skyway, all of those running a little slow, but for the most part, the only real trouble spot right now is that 65 southbound. I assume as you get further south on 65, just sort of travel conditions should let up a little bit because I don't think the snow went quite that far south. I've got some official snow totals as of this point. So our friend Tammy down in Crown Point sent me a picture. They checked in at 1 foot officially down in the Crown Point area. I know we had more snow to the east, so check in with us once we get through weather. Let us know your snow totals. Let us know how you're faring. If you survived snowpocalypse, give us a call, 219-845-1100. If you did not survive snowpocalypse, call us at 219-845-1100. We'll put you at the front of the line. Lynette, let's take a look at the weather.
Good morning, everyone. Today we're at 33 degrees with highs of 35 and lows of 23. We'll be having snow this morning, 1 to 2 inches. It should be windy with clouds breaking. A storm total snowfall of 1 to 2 feet, and travel will be extremely difficult and dangerous today. As for tomorrow on Tuesday, we'll be having highs of 39 and lows of 33. A snow shower in the morning and otherwise mostly cloudy and increasingly windy. And then Wednesday, we'll be having highs of 50 and lows of 34. It should be not as cold with plenty of sunshine.
So we're going to just do this like weather desk style. So we're just going to sit here. What we need, Lynette, is if you can find it on YouTube, there is like a newsroom background sound effect, like with typewriters and teletypes running in the background.
No, do not do that.
No, it's funny when you do that. So find that. Find newsroom background sound effects and just run the teletype as we do this. So let's get started here.
It's snowing, you see.
In my day. Okay, so let's see how many times Bob says in my day we would have walked uphill to school. Okay, so we know most schools are having e-learning days. Lynette, why don't we run through that list real quick? So, what do you have? We've got a couple different sources coming in. So, give me your list.
Yes, we have
So these are generally all going to be e-learning days unless otherwise noted. But for the most part, we're looking at e-learning days. So go ahead and run through that list that we were looking at earlier.
Yes, we have East Chicago Lighthouse Charter School. We have most of the
here's
Gary
the thing,
schools.
You got to do this like you're doing you're doing the lotto numbers, because a bunch of kids at home that are like waiting. They're like waiting for their name to be called. So you got to do this like big. Do it big and like East Chicago. You're off. If you get an e-learning day, so come on, you got to work with us here. Go ahead.
Throw something at you.
Yeah, I know she is. It'll be a long day. Sorry. Go ahead.
You were doing great.
I didn't even have coffee yet, by the way. Go ahead. All you.
East Chicago Learning Day.
East Chicago, you have a learning day, just like that. Okay.
Gary Community School Corporations, they're delayed by 2 hours, but most Gary schools are closed today with e-learning.
Okay, let's do that. Let's do that real slow, because that's a 2 hour delay. So are you saying what has a 2 hour delay?
Where did it go? Gary Community School Corporation has a 2 hour delay. Gary Lighthouse Intermediate was closed today with e-learning. Gary Lighthouse closed today e-learning. Most of these are not near us.
Yeah, so just run through and look for any towns that you recognize. So we know that School Town of Hammond, you have an e-learning day.
Yes, Purdue University e-learning.
So Purdue University, you have an e-learning day. You get an e-learning day, and you get an e-learning day. Lake Central, you get an e-learning day. Munster, you get an e-learning day. Highland, you get an e-learning day. You have applause? Okay. I still want my teletypes. Okay, so we're going to put together that list, and we'll continue to hit that throughout the day. But at this point, assume you have an e-learning day. I do want to check in. We want to keep an eye on Gary and make sure that there's still an e-learning day. So we'll check on that.
And at some point, we want to give Bob 3 minutes to just rant and yell about how stupid e-learning days are.
Well, okay. I mean, again, so I guess that's the question. I'd love to hear about, do we still have snow days then? It sounds like we don't. So snow days just completely off the table, and you e-learn. Let's see. So
Crown Point schools are on e-learning today.
Okay, Paul Goddard says he's in a crane. Has the snow reached the top of your crane yet, Paul? If not, he says there's lots of spin-outs and crashes, so we're watching that on the roads. Travel treacherous. Like I said, I-65 seems to be the worst right now. We'd like to hear some snow totals, especially if you're coming from the east. I'd love to hear some snow totals out there. We'd love to hear how things are if you're coming from out east or heading out east, because it seems like that was where –
like Valpo or Ohio?
Either one.
Okay.
You can't get to Ohio from Valpo right now. I'm going to go on record and say that.
Okay.
It will not. You cannot get there from here. But I think, lake effect generally hits the eastern part of our state and Michigan. So if you're heading that way, especially, thoughts and prayers go out to you. Bring your sled dogs with you. But at this point, again, we're going to assume most schools, except for Gary at this point, are e-learning. So I'd like to get an update if anybody knows anything about Gary. Again, being further east, I would assume that they would want to do an e-learning day, but we'll keep an eye on that. So most schools e-learning, travel treacherous, thoughts and prayers. I don't know. What else do we want to add? Kill storms, snow hurricanes. Snowpocalypse is here. How did your town fare? Have you been wiped off the map down in Dyer?
No, actually, I think Dyer is one of the few towns left.
That you've survived. Okay,
Yeah.
So you are the ARC.
Congratulations.
Dyer is the ARC of
It
the
is.
region.
It is. Our public works were out there. One thing I will say is,
I think we need to turn you. Can we turn him up a little bit? I think he's a little low.
Me?
Either that or I'm shouting. Either one.
you are shouting.
Yes,
You're loud.
That's Snowpocalypse 2025. You have to shout.
So I left Dyer, came up through Munster, came up through Hammond, and just drive slow, folks. The plow crews are out there. They've got 3 or 4 trucks in a row trying to clear the roads. Give them some space. For Pete's sake, don't park on the street. Move your car. Make it easy for these guys. They've been out for hours. They will continue to be out for hours. Give all the public works folks some space today to clear the roads for you. And no, not every single road will be plowed the second you wake up. It just takes time. So have a little patience. And like Chuck said, it's a 2 loaf of bread and 2 dozen egg day. So make some French toast and, I don't know, enjoy the pretty snow.
Is that a good newsroom background?
That is. That sounds like
We've got people everywhere gathering information.
We have
We've got
all of the Purdue interns.
All of the interns are running around
the
like
interns
mad, getting us information. We've got our first phone. The phones still work, thank God.
The phone's still working.
Okay, so let's take our first phone call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
What's an e-learning day?
Well,
I didn't.
Bob, go ahead.
In my day, I never had any of those kind
In
of
my
things.
day,
What-
drink.
Back in my
Everybody
day,
drink.
So I will tell you, e-learning is a scam, and I invite any a superintendent from any school to call in and tell us why it isn't. So what e-learning is they decided that through COVID, they were doing a lot of instruction over the internet. Kids would they'd all have their tablets or their laptops, whatever it was, and they'd all Zoom in, Google Meets, Microsoft Teams, whatever, into this big virtual classroom, and they would do all the homework there, so you wouldn't have to go to school. Well, through COVID, they found that hey, that wasn't a bad model. So now instead of having a snow day, where typically schools will build in 1 or 2 snow days into their calendar year, but if they go beyond that, then they just end up tacking days on at the end of the year. That's how it was when I went to school. When you went to school, everybody went to school. If you had 3 or 4 days of snow days, you'd have 1 or 2 days tacked on at the end of the year. Well, they found out that hey, we don't need to do that. We can just have the kids at home. They can all Zoom into the classroom, and it counts as a day of instruction. And that way, you don't have to tack on a day at the end of the year. Everybody stays on track. So for Lake Central this morning, they have an e-learning day. Let me pull this up just so I get this correct as we talk over the airwaves.
So we're hearing also IUN e-learning closure today. I don't know. Do colleges do e-learning? I mean, really, the whole thing is e-learning, but
the whole thing is.
But IUN closed as well. Thanks, MedMac, for that.
But to go with the Lake Central one here, it says Lake Central will have an e-learning day on Monday, November 10th. Please check your email for more detailed information about e-learning. All students must log into their class Google Meet by 9:45. So what the kids will do is the kids are at home. They've all got their Chromebooks, iPads, whatever it is. At 9:45, they'll open up their laptops and they will attend a virtual classroom. And
So Walt, the only reason I would say this is beneficial for kids is that they get to learn about sitting in meetings that could have been an email. So basically, they will sit on a Zoom for school all day, and really nothing. So they'll pay attention. They'll half pay attention. Some of it will apply to them. Some of it will not. But at least they'll learn how to look interested.
Thousands and thousands of grade school government workers today here in Northwest Indiana as they Zoom into meetings that could have been an email.
Okay, so
how about some good news?
Yeah, if you got some, that'd be great.
Well, tomorrow is Veterans Day, and if you get Saturday's Times, there's a full list of free goodies for veterans. For example, free breakfast at Bob Evans, Denny's, Cracker Barrel, IHOP, Wendy's. Free meal at Chili's, White Castle, Firehouse Subs, Hooters, and Olive Garden. Twin Peaks is offering free lunch from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., free steak, Texas Corral, Texas Roadhouse, Applebee's. What else? There are about 20 categories of freebies, free haircuts, free pizza, free smoothies. So check out if you want to see the complete list. Go to the local library and get out Saturday's Times and page through, and you'll have a complete list. How about that?
I see USA Today has a really extensive list of all the deals and discounts and all that stuff. So you can also look at USA Today. Just type in USA Today free Veterans Day. So I mean, again, what a great thing for the veterans. You yourself are a veteran, Walt. What do you go to a parade or anything like that? Do you participate in any of that? No. Okay. So
I take advantage of the freebies, and it's especially the places that offer sit-down meals and so forth. Some of it just on an individual basis. Sometimes they put the veterans together. That's always a lot of fun. Talking to veterans, their experience in the military, particularly of the Vietnam era. But it's by the way, for the veterans, don't fail to tip the servers.
Oh, sure,
I ask them, what is the normal price of this meal, and they give me the number, and I give them 20% of of the normal price for the meal.
That's a fantastic
So,
tip. I mean, it's a good opportunity if there's a place, you've heard of this place, you're not really sure what they do. It's like, okay, I don't want to fully commit to buying a meal. You get a free meal, you get to try it. Go, okay, this is pretty good. Maybe I'll come back someday. I know, like down at Lake Central, our friend Mr. Clark had a. It was very nice to see. They streamed the Veterans Day event down at Lake Central last week. Every year, Mr. Clark brings in a veteran for the high schoolers, so they get to hear from somebody who actually experienced. He was this year. He was from Vietnam. Talked about his experiences there. So, I mean, again, it's really nice. That's something that I remember. Even as a youngster, they used to bring in somebody from World War II, Vietnam, and kind of tell you, their experiences. And I think that's really good to sort of expose young people to that kind of thing.
Did you just say youngster?
The youngsters. When I was a youngster.
Tom
Okay,
Clark,
Walt,
by the way,
we're gonna digress for a second, Walt. I want to get your thoughts on this. I've been watching a lot of videos this weekend about people interviewing young people in New York about why they voted for Mamdani.
Mm-hmm.
And it's exactly what you would expect. They all had the same answer. We want free buses. We want low rent. And none of them know how it's going to be paid for, which, again, is to be expected.
Tax white people and rich people. That's how it's going to get paid for.
So this was interesting because even there was one interview with a young woman, and he said, why did you vote for him? Well, because of all these free so you just voted for him for the free stuff. Well, no, I voted for him for other things. Well, what are they? I can't name them. I just know about the free stuff. And then he asked her, he said, well, what does free bus service cost? She said, well, nothing. It's free. He said, well, no, there's a cost because you have, ongoing, you have to pay salaries. Well, no, it's free. And they were at this impasse where the poor girl couldn't understand that when you get something for free, somebody else has to pay for it. I think the estimate was somewhere in the neighborhood of $800 million to $1 billion or something ridiculous. But it was interesting because one of my favorite arguments I've heard so far is the idea that in a place like New York, 40 to 50% of people don't actually pay for their ticket. They come in the back way. Like in the subways, they've always had an issue with the fare jumpers and people like that. So the excuse was, well, Chuck, if half the people are already stealing, why not just give it for free to the other half? So what?
Sure.
Absolutely
perfectly logical.
Perfect. Why, instead of holding people accountable for stealing, you just give it to everybody for free? How can you argue? It's like, where do I even begin to argue with the logic of just let people continue to steal and then let everybody else steal? I mean,
it's not just places.
Go ahead.
It's not just places like New York and Chicago. It's all across the country. Well, when they had all these demonstrations for no kings and all the rest of that stuff, I said to your audience more than once, this is about free stuff. Forget about we're defending democracy, no kings, all the rest of that nonsense. It's all about free stuff. Period.
Well, and that always becomes, what is the joke about socialism? It's great until you run out of somebody else's money. We already know that basically, and I want to get into this a little bit later, the idea that the New York Stock Exchange is essentially moving operations to Texas. People are obviously moving to Florida. I predict that Miami will eventually become the new financial center of this country if things go this way in New York. So again, it becomes this idea of, and they kept asking them, well, what happens if the people that pay, the rich people leave? They said, well, they're not going to do that. Well, what if they do? Then what? So you're just assuming that the people being taxed aren't going to leave. But again, you can look at the demographics. We know that for the last decade plus, people have been leaving New York, Illinois, California, moving to Texas, moving to Indiana, moving to Florida. We know that this is happening. This idea that it's not going to continue based on nothing is asinine, to be honest. So, okay, well, Walt, I appreciate the call as always. Stay safe out there. Appreciate you. Thank you for your service. Go get a free meal and all that good stuff. So,
thanks.
Thank you. Okay, so let's run through. We got some updates from Jim. So, again, so these are just updates through Jim. Griffith Public Schools will be closed today.
Portage Township Schools closed. Valpo Community Schools closed. Self School be closed. Westville Schools closed.
No, you got to do it. what like here. So PNW, for instance, PNW, you get a snow day.
Woo!
Yay! So PNW, both Hammond and Westville will operate remotely today. Let's see what else we've got.
As you're looking through that, I'd love to know.
The Lake County libraries will be closed today. Do not venture out to return your library books. So I know a bunch of you were waking up this morning going, I have to get out and return my library books. Snow be damned. But you just can wait. They will not fine you the nickel. Wait till tomorrow. You'll be okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
No. So Griffith Public Schools, it's just stated they're going to be closed today. And then you've got, School City of Hobart, Lake Central, they're going to have e-learning days. I'd love to have somebody tell me, walk me through that decision-making process of just closing a school versus e-learning. Yes, this is going to be something that will stick in my craw for the next couple hours as we're on the radio. I think you're stealing something from the kids by having e-learning. Their job is to go outside and play in the snow and just have a mental break from the day. And
well, I mean, I guess that's part of it. But so there's also that part of it where I still have to go to work. My wife still has to go to work. Tomorrow for government employees they get the day off, but for most of so that becomes a question though. I mean that becomes a hardship on parents that are sitting here waking up in the morning going, are my young children going to stay home? Do I have to pay for childcare? Do I have to take the day off work? So it can be, it can be tricky for some people.
Well, true, but here's the difference with that is if you've got whether or not school's canceled or e-learning, whatever it is, you're now stuck with the decision of, okay, what do I do with my kid? If I still have to go to work, they haven't closed down Jewel, they haven't closed down the mill, they haven't closed down the new data centers popping up everywhere. I still have to go to work, but now my kid's home from school. You can maybe send them to a neighbor's house, a grandparent's house, whatever your circle of support is, perhaps you can do that. But now, one of the issues that I always had was, okay, what do we do with Liam? Okay, you send him to the grandparents' house. Well, now you have to teach them how to do e-learning.
We got to move your mic on this side because we got to.
Why? Because I keep looking at you.
Don't look at me. It's fine. Look that way.
I'm better not.
I want you to be on your axis there. Okay, so just as an update here, I do have confirmation. Gary Community Schools are still planning a 2-hour delay. I'm on the Facebook page. The comments section is going as expected.
I can't see how they don't cancel it. I don't understand.
So as of right now, Gary Community Schools, the only school that is open on a 2-hour delay. If you know of any schools that are open today or not on a delay, let us know. But as of right now, pretty much everyone is e-learning except for Gary Community Schools on a 2-hour delay.
If anybody from Lake Station Community Schools or Hammond Schools want to tell me what is an asynchronous e-learning day for all students?
So that almost sounds like you have the option of doing either one, right? I mean, so Lake Station having an asynchronous e-learning day. It actually says it on their website. Asynchronous e-learning means students will be working on the assignments at their own pace, and teachers are available for assistance throughout the day. We understand that students may not have a device available. Therefore, students have 3 days to turn in their assignments.
Yeah,
so,
just do that.
You can do. I mean, that gives them some flexibility. If you don't have the tablet, go out, go sledding, and then you have 3 days to do your homework. When that says we got to take a break. Coming up at 7 o'clock, we are going to get into the great data center controversy. We've got several communities that are proposing data centers, and we want to hear from several different. We want to hear from you. If you're going through that in your community, what are your thoughts on data centers? But we'll be talking about that in the 7 o'clock hour. So we'll be back with more after this.
Truck drivers, don't miss out on the unmatched consistency of a Schneider driving job. At Schneider, you can find a driving position that fits your lifestyle and goals, all while getting the pay you deserve. Plus, Schneider drivers operate state-of-the-art, well-maintained equipment and have access to award-winning benefits and a 24/7 support team. Explore Schneider's huge selection of driving jobs today and find your perfect fit at SchneiderJobs.com. That's SchneiderJobs.com.
Hard Rock Casino Northern Indiana wants to make you a winner every Friday in October with our $500K Double Down giveaway. Earn entries each week to boost your chance of winning a guaranteed $50,000. Then you can choose to walk away or risk half for a shot at $100,000 in cash. Do you dare to double down? Only at Hard Rock Casino Northern Indiana, just off Exit 6, I-80-94. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Life's biggest challenges don't come with a warning. When legal issues arise, whether it's a car accident, personal injury, criminal charge, or representing you before municipal boards, you need a trusted advocate on your side. At Westland & Bennett, we listen first because your story matters. We provide strategic, personalized legal solutions to protect your rights, your freedom, and your future. Peace of mind starts with a conversation. Call 219-440-7550 today for a free consultation.
Tech Credit Union supports the essential role of union labor in building strong communities. That's why we offer hassle-free banking, financial empowerment, and a commitment to your success. Save for the future, handle life's challenges, and trust a partner that stands by hardworking union members. Tech Credit Union, the better option for you and your money. Visit techcu.org or call 800-276-8324. Tech Credit Union, supporting union families every step of the way.
But it's time. You gotta catch up with me. Yeah. I'll catch up with you. I'll be right back, man. I'll see you in a minute.
Anything else? Yeah.
Well, what's up, boy? Hey, Ryan. Not tonight, man. Not tonight. Oh, yeah. You guys are right. Hey, come on. Let's go. Come in.
Okay, 6:32 here in the region. We obviously are prioritizing traffic, weather, school closures, all that stuff today. We're going to try to do as much of a normal show as we can, but we've got lots of issues going on out there. So we are hearing that I-65 is shut down at 109th. I think that deserves a drink, because who would have expected I-65 to shut down? So we're checking. We're trying to get some confirmation on that, but we're hearing that I-65 shut down. It sounds like both ways, but we've got stuck semis at 109th.
Yeah, 109th and 113th, mile point 249.
So we have both ways?
Checking.
Okay, so we're checking the traffic cams. So if you're on I-65, thoughts and prayers on that one. I would say if you're thinking about I-65, don't. If you're down at 109th, south of there, anything like that, it's going to be just treacherous. So right now, I-65 is the trouble spot. Everything else is just sort of slow moving. Take your time. Things are moving slow. No real incidents, but traffic slow all the way around Indiana, all the way, 65, 8094, 294, all the 94s, the Dan Ryan, the Bishop Ford, everything is just slow moving. Okay. So
now I will say that if you're looking for news on 65, 8094, 511in.org is the website that NDOT uses. You can check all of the traffic cameras there. They also have something that is new, I think, this year. I think they might have tested out last year, but new this year. They have cameras I don't know if they're GoPros or whatever they are. They've got cameras on some of their snow plows, so you can actually watch the snow plows go.
Do they have audio? Does a guy? I'd like to hear the guy yelling
yes,
at us as he drives.
That's the INDOT subscription you have to pay for.
Yeah, and don't. Yeah, so okay, so we have this from Region News Source. I-65 southbound at 109th is closed due to stuck semis. It sounds like northbound is still operating, but it is very slow. So it is very slow, essentially, from here down to, everywhere, Schneider, down that way. So you've got hazardous conditions on I-65, which is completely expected. But as of right now, I-65 southbound closed at 109th. So if you're trying to head that way, don't find an alternate. And there really isn't a whole lot of alternates. People are saying 65 north is a standstill in the same area. So just 65 north and south is just slow moving. So that's the key here. If you need to take 65, go find a different way around. If somebody's expecting you downstate Indiana today, tell them you can't make it. Luckily for Bob, you don't have one of those meetings that could have been an e-learning day. So that's the main key, 65. Everything else, just slow. We have a whole bunch of e-learning days. Basically, at this point, we're just going to say most schools e-learning day, except for Gary Community Schools, 2-hour delay. So at this point, I think it's safe to say most schools e-learning day. If you know otherwise, let us know. Lynette, let's take a look at the how are things shaping up in the weather center, the Killstorm Weather Center.
It's cold and it's going to stay cold. Today we're at 33 degrees with highs of 35 and lows of 23. With the lake effect snow this morning, 1 to 2 inches. It's going to be pretty windy, and with the storm total snowfall of 1 to 2 feet. Tomorrow on Tuesday, we'll be having highs of 39 and lows of 33 with a snow shower in the morning, otherwise mostly cloudy and increasingly windy. And then Wednesday, we'll be having highs of 50 and lows of 34. It will be not as cold with plenty of sunshine.
Okay, so, and then if you guys have any pictures, I'm going to send you a picture. Just keep an eye on so send stuff to jed1230@gmail. I'm sure he's thrilled that we're checking his email, but sorry, we have no choice. You don't have a newsroom email address. So we're going to be looking at pictures. My friend Tammy sent a picture from Crown Point. She had a foot over there. And we're looking for any information as far as e-learning days, closures. So if you know of any school that's not closed, that's the big news as of right now. So Portage, for instance, no e-learning day. So Portage is just saying schools are closed, makeup date will be announced. So no e-learning day for Portage. We'll put that in the no e-learning category. Okay, so anybody have anything? If you got anything else, Bob, just shout stuff out as we go. So
anything or just school-related
Well, I mean,
closures?
Hopefully somewhat on task of what we're talking about.
That's not what I heard.
Meals on Wheels of Northwest Indiana will not be delivering today.
No meals today. Okay. I assume that maybe they give you some like extra rations for such a thing. I don't know if you guys maybe have some MREs in the back of your closet. That's always, I keep a couple of those in a bucket somewhere. So no Meals on Wheels. Now, one of the things that I was going to talk about, Bob, so we've got, we're going to be talking about the Hobart Data Center at 7 o'clock. There's been a group out there that's been pushing back against the data center. I know it's been a big topic in a lot of communities. So we'll be talking about that. We'll be talking to Alice at 7 o'clock.
Do you think the people who are against the data center are posting about it online using data centers?
Ask her. I mean, again, that's a valid question to ask. It's
tongue in cheek, but no, really, we had talked about this over the weekend. I'm really curious as to why people don't want. I can see when someone comes in and says, "Oh, we're going to build a new prison here." That they don't want a prison next door, but I don't know what the difference is between a data center and one of them self-storage units. I mean, they've got
there's
those
a lot of concern about energy, and again, sort of the idea of a lot of data centers are trying to locate in Indiana because of our being very attractive to business and things like that. So it becomes a big question: is if we build? There's one report that I saw that they wanted 10,000 megawatts worth of data centers.
1.21 gigawatts?
Slightly, pretty close. So that would be the question: is will we be able to keep up with demand? There's questions about water usage and things like that. So we'll be getting into that at 7:00. Lynette says we have some phone calls, so let's get through those. So good morning, caller, you're on the air.
This is news you can use. We want to let everybody know that some...
Go ahead, sorry. Go ahead.
Some schools are closed today. Some schools are doing e-learning. Some schools are doing none of the above. Today is the 250th anniversary of the birth of the United States Marine Corps, and this just in, Elvis is still dead.
I don't know. I don't know about all that.
I don't know.
So there's a guy out there. I went down this rabbit hole the other day.
Oh, the guy who has
Bob Joyce. So
yes.
So Bob Joyce. I'm just saying. Just check that out when you have some time. Maybe at some point, maybe we'll play some Bob. You got to hang up on him because he hung up on us. So, I'm just saying, if Elvis is still alive, he's a preacher named Bob Joyce. Okay, so so Lynette, if you get any photos, just go ahead and just put them up there. Show us what the people are sending in. Jed1230@gmail. Send us your photos if you got anything. So there's Tammy's photo. That is a foot down in the Crown Point area. Especially if you're further east, I'd like to hear what your snow totals are. Thank you for that, Tammy. So that's a foot down in the Crown Point, Hobart area. So okay, let's see. I'm going to try to stay on topic a little bit, but I wanted to talk about. So you and I, we met up this weekend at the Hard Rock.
We did.
And we saw Dane Cook, somebody who I'd never seen. I grew up watching all sorts of different comedians. I mean, I was one of those guys. I unashamedly liked Sinbad and guys like that.
Yeah.
So I really, I grew up watching all these. That was sort of that era of comedy specials and Comedy Central. Comedy Central used to not just show South Park all day long; they actually used to show comedy specials. And I always loved, watching all these different comedians. And Dane Cook was one of those that came up a little bit later. But so it was interesting. My big takeaway from that was there are people that are telling us about how the world is that the world is in dire straits, that everybody is having all these problems. But I could not find a place to park at Hard Rock on Saturday night.
So we got there. I think we were going to meet up about 7:00. We thought we'd get there just a little early to people watch. So, no joke. It was a solid 10 minutes driving around the parking lot looking for someplace to park. The economy must be doing well because, you had to almost wait for someone to leave a seat at a table or a slot machine in order to sit down. Every make and model of person was there, everyone, and that was the first thing that we thought when we pulled in is, I don't know where people are saying, oh, the economy is bad, nobody has money. They were all there blowing their money.
Well, not me. I made $1.50 on the blackjack. So, I went away a winner, and so I shouldn't say that too loud. The IRS is going to want 75 cents of that.
I donated $100 to the Hard Rock Casino, and I had a great time.
It's for the children, Bob.
For the children. I had a great time. I love slot machines. I don't know that I've ever played a table game, but I could sit at a slot machine, and now I'm responsible with it. $100 a day is about the 3 times a year I go, so I'm into it for one NIPSCO bill a year.
If you would just go a few more times, we can get rid of the referendums.
I know, right? Okay,
so speaking of that, referendums did pass in most places. So Bob and I, coming from the Lake Central School District, we had a little bit of a disagreement on for the children. I'm over it. Bob still likes supporting the children. And honestly, my issue has always been, and people that listen to the radio know, this goes back to the days of the Munster referendum, whatever it was, 8 years ago now, when Munster literally ran me out of town because I had the audacity to say, hey, make sure your financial house is in order before you ask for $50 million. How dare I? But this becomes the question is, I am not, and obviously we can all agree we're not fans of sort of the SB1, the current funding mechanism, but this becomes sort of the issue is that we've essentially created a situation where the state is giving schools sort of the bare minimum. They're saying, here's what you get, and you get to decide if you want a referendum. So instead of
do you want so everybody gets the the Motel 6 package, and you have to decide if you want to upgrade to Best Western or Hilton or all the way up. But I do want to interrupt real quick and just say that southbound I-65 at mile marker 258 between 80 and 35th Avenue, southbound 65, there is a crash. So keep an eye out for that.
So where is this at? This is at, you said 35th?
This is southbound 65 between 8094 and 35th Avenue near Lake Station.
I-65 between I-80 and 30.
So just off the ramp from 8094.
Okay,
southbound.
so basically starting at the ramp, as you're getting onto I-65, on down, so I-65 crash southbound at the ramp. We've got a closure at 109. So basically, again, 65, stay off of it. Avoid at all costs, which, again, if you've lived here for more than one winter, you should already know that. Do not take I-65 when it snows. It is, as I call it, the haunted highway. Go ahead.
So 65 just bad. I do want to go back to this point. So the state does. They do a bare minimum. This is what we think that every dollar for each kid, this is what it should be. But what I don't understand about it is not every kid has the same dollar attached to it. They've got charts out there. Maybe next week we'll have one prepared to throw up there just to show that the price per pupil, the cost that some of the schools, say in North County and Geary and Hampton, are much higher than the ones in South County. And so I don't understand where they say, well, if there is just some base level, then a kid from Geary, a kid from Lake Central, a kid from Carmel, or a kid from Lagodi, they should all be the same amount, and then let the communities decide. If the state's going to take a hands-off approach on funding beyond a base level, then you let the communities decide how much they want to invest beyond that. Yes, Lake Central did pass. I supported it. I also think they could have done perhaps a better job of explaining two things: what they were using it for, but also the actual cost. Unfortunately, when you go to put a referendum on a ballot, you have to use the median home value, which was, and then round up to the nearest 50,000. So for Lake Central, I think it was $350,000 that they used as their example. And so when you look at the question, it makes it appear that your taxes are going to increase by $500 a year, $460, whatever it was. And that's just not the case. That's assuming the question is in a silo. It didn't factor in that the old
referendum. It comes off the fact that you already are coming. So basically, we're renewing a referendum every 7 years?
Yes.
So essentially, you have an active referendum. You're renewing it. So the argument was your taxes really shouldn't change a whole lot.
It shouldn't. And when you slap on all the SB1 nonsense, even with the change from 17 cents to 24 or 25, whatever it was, everybody is still getting money back. The difference is how much money are you going to not get back, but
okay, there goes that government math. You're getting a refund. Like, no, it's my money. You're getting a refund. Like, no, you took too much. Say it the right way.
Say it the right way.
Okay, so why don't we let's take some calls? I know people are waiting. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
We're good. How are you?
How are you?
Are you surviving?
Well,
how are your snow dogs doing?
I'm doing good because I'm retired, sitting looking out the window of the snow. And last year I would be freezing my fanny off and trying to get the trucks ready, scrape the snow, everything, and I'm relaxing. But let's talk about NIPSCO. Guess what? A big surprise this weekend. I get my NIPSCO bill, and it actually went down $30.61.
But how much has your candle usage gone up? to balance that
Well,
out?
I learned how to save on NIPSCO.
Okay.
The first of the month, I do all my shopping, get everything I need in the house. I close the windows, doors, don't turn on no lights, nothing. Stay and for 30 days straight. That's how my NIPSCO. No, no, I'm on a
So you sit in the dark all day
plan.
long, and you're like, my NIPSCO bill's gone down. Okay.
No. But it was a shock because I am on the budget plan, and they recalculate mine in May. They always recalculate, and they can go up. Because like last year in May, it went up. I get my bill this weekend and it went down. I kept looking and looking, thinking, what's the matter here? And it shows my NIPSCO bill went down $30.61. I don't understand how that can happen when I'm on the budget.
Yeah, that is interesting because you should pay pretty much the same amount year round until I think it's like May or something like that. So.
Yeah, that's why. But it's like I had something on all night listening, and accidents everywhere. And I'm supposed to take a student to get tested at 11:30 today, and about 7:30 I'm going to call the test site, see what's going on, because I know it's worse over there towards Portage and stuff, and they might cancel it because I know it's cold, and then they're not going to get that whole lot paid very good for the students to take their tests,
Right.
The thing, luckily, the Bears might have lost Sunday if they had all this snow yesterday. You never know. The only thing is IU is rated number 2. They did good, It's kind of, I keep watching, now that I'm retired, I'm watching more college and football games on TV and paying attention more. But every time I check the top 25, Purdue still ain't even on the list yet. I don't understand.
We are not. I'm not. I in all honesty, I'm not the sports ball guy, but
sports.
But like you guys were talking about all this e-learning and everything. It's like when I went to school, we get up in the morning. If it's snowing, we would listen. Well, at the time we would listen to. My mom would have a TV on, and you'd see it going across the screen.
Oh, you'd wait for the little scroller to go across. Yep.
Oh yeah. As soon as I see my thing, it's like cool. Then I call my friends, and we go out and make snowmans and snow forts and have snow fights and all that good old stuff. We didn't stay home and sit in front of a laptop and learn.
That's what that's what we're gonna do. That's what I do with my kids. Like on a Saturday, I'm like, no, you're getting dressed up. I'm gonna lock you outside for a while. You're gonna go build a snowman. You're not allowed to come in until you have a 6-foot snowman. Then you can come back.
Yeah.
So I'll have hot cocoa.
Yeah, you have hot chocolate and you thaw out in front of the TV.
Okay, so we got.
I'm gonna let you guys
we gotta get
go
caught up
so
here,
you can get all the information. So everybody, because due to the weather, and everything, be careful, be safe, and if you don't hear from a friend of yours or elderly person that check on them to make sure they're safe.
Well, thank you so much. Good advice. Yeah, check in on the old folks in your neighborhood. Make sure they're doing well. Maybe run them. See how they're doing on the milk and bread. Check their milk and bread scale. We got more calls. Let's take some more calls.
We lost them.
Okay, perfect. So let's do this because we got a lot of traffic coming in. We got a lot of news coming in. Let's run through this before we reset for 7 o'clock. So we've got updates here. 65, just an absolute parking lot. So we've got a crash southbound at the interchange with 8094. We've got a crash at 109th. 65 southbound on 109th. We're hearing it is closed due to multiple semis getting stuck. We've got crashes on the Bishop Ford. The 2 right lanes are blocked southbound right at 8094. It looks like northbound is going a little slow. You got the Gapers delay. So basically, like if you're heading into the city, you've got heavy traffic on the Dan Ryan. You've got a crash in the express lanes at 43rd. We're hearing that if you're thinking about taking Lakeshore Drive, it looks like Lakeshore Drive northbound is closed due to an overturned vehicle at Oakwood, which is 31st. So don't think that you can skip Dan Ryan, take the the Lakeshore Drive into the city, so that's closed. So you got a lot of traffic going on. So before you leave, take a look at things. Stay off I-65. Stay off of Lakeshore Drive. Dan Ryan moving slow. Stay in the local lanes. Other than that, things are just going great on the roads. Lynette, how's the weather?
Hold on for a second. I am not prepared.
Okay.
All right. Today we're at 33 degrees with highs of 35 and lows of 23. Still the same. 1 to 2 feet of snow. Travel will be difficult and dangerous. Tomorrow on Tuesday, we'll be having highs of 39 and lows of 33. A snow shower in the morning, otherwise mostly cloudy and increasingly windy. And then Wednesday, we'll be having highs of 50 and lows of 34. Should be not as cold with plenty of sunshine.
Okay, perfect. So as far as school goes, e-learning days for most schools. Portage, no e-learning day. The only school that appears to be open at this point is the Gary Community Schools, who has a 2-hour delay. Other than that, it looks like everybody is either closed or doing an e-learning day. If your school is still open, give us a call, 219-845-1100. But other than that, it looks like Gary Community Schools on a 2-hour delay. Everybody else is closed or e-learning. We got anything else on the roads, Bob, that I missed? You said
a new one. They've got a this is westbound on 8094 out by Chesterton between 250 East and Indiana 49. So westbound 94 is gummed up by Chesterton. Eastbound 94 is gummed up by Lake Station Portage by the tollway. 65 is a mess. Just it's all a mess.
So basically, you can't get there from here. That's all I would say at this point. And obviously, if you're sitting in traffic somewhere, you see something that we didn't mention, give us a call. But just assume treacherous travel conditions today. You can't get there from here, and if you try, you'll get stuck. So happy Monday. We'll be back with more. We're going to be talking to Alice about the Hobart Data Center after this.
For over 140 years, the Central Midwest Carpenters have built our communities in Northwest Indiana. Are you ready to join the effort? We have long-term work, competitive pay, and the best benefits in the industry. We pride ourselves on innovative training and commitment to worksite safety. Earn as you learn as an apprentice. A solid career built on a solid legacy. For more info, go to carpenters.com.
Have you ever considered becoming an iron worker? Local 395 is now accepting applications for their apprenticeship program. Go to ironworkers395.com. Look under the training section, click on apprenticeship, and scroll down to the application. You must be 18 years old, have a high school diploma or GED, and you must be physically able to perform the work of the trade. Find out more by calling the apprenticeship school in Lake Station at 219-962-7675 or visit ironworkers395.com.
Tired of that cracked driveway? Dreaming of a new patio or need a concrete partner for your next big project? Call RNC Concrete Construction, family owned with 30 plus years serving Northwest Indiana. From residential driveways to stamped patios and commercial foundations, we pour with pride and deliver lasting quality. Call today for your free estimate at 219-779-9370. That's 219-779-9370. RNC Concrete, where your concrete vision comes to life.
Siri, read me that text.
Sorry, I can't complete your request.
You want me to read that?
No, I got it.
Construction zone.
I see it.
Watch it!
Oh.
my God. You're gonna hit him!
Oh, fuck!
When driving in a construction zone, be smart, be alert, be in the zone.
This is Brian Short, business manager for the Indiana Laborers District Council. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, save lives. We're all in this together.
A message from Indiana's District Council of Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
Do you want to get a vaccine, but it's difficult to get to your healthcare provider? Call the folks at Right Care Pharmacy. They'll come to your home, discuss your vaccination status with you, and administer the appropriate vaccine with expertise. They offer vaccines for flu, shingles, pneumonia, hepatitis A and B, TDAP, RSV, and COVID. They've been serving the Lake and Porter County community for over 11 years and are fluent in Spanish. Call Right Care Pharmacy at 219-655-5028.
Introducing Powers Health, a health system with a new name and a strong legacy of caring for families in our community. One with a tradition of advanced specialized services and a vision for the future. One with a commitment to medical excellence and compassionate care. Everything we do, everything we believe, Powers Health.
It is 7:01 in the region. You're listening to Round the Clock until 8 o'clock or 8:30. Do we know? Do we have an 8 o'clock? Do we have an 8:30?
We only have a new show around 11.
A new show around 11. Well, we're not going that long, I don't think. I think we got stuff to do. But we'll be here this morning. We're going to be talking about, we'll be keeping you updated on closures everywhere and weather and all the things going on. As we mentioned, we've been talking about, most schools have an e-learning day. Gary Community Schools, right now, the only school that's on a 2-hour delay. Everybody else, as far as we know, is on an e-learning day. And if you know otherwise, give us a call. We've got all sorts of traffic issues. We've got issues southbound, northbound 65 at the interchange, down at 109th. We've got multiple closures on 8094, spun out vehicles. We've got closures on Bishop Ford, Dan Ryan. Lakeshore Drive is closed due to an overturned vehicle. So you got traffic in every direction. So if you're going somewhere, plan on it taking a while. Sit here, enjoy the show, take your time. If you're stuck somewhere, let us know where you're stuck if we haven't mentioned it. But for the most part, just bad travel in every direction. We hope that once the sun comes up and the plows get out, they'll start cleaning things up. But in the meantime, things just slow in every direction. So we are expecting a call from Alice from Hobart here shortly to talk about the new data center project going on out there. But in the meantime, we're also taking your calls, 219-845-1100. Do we have any calls at the moment?
We have two.
We have two. Let's go ahead and take them. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Chuck. How you doing today?
Good, sir. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. I was curious. Well, one thing is, has anybody announced the 50th anniversary of a famous event today?
The 50th anniversary. Go ahead. You have me intrigued.
Are you going to sing the song?
Okay.
No, I'm not going to sing the song. I'll let the producer play it a little bit.
Oh, man. Okay.
50 years ago today, man, a similar storm actually too caused the sinking of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Oh, that's right. Today is the day. I was thinking it was tomorrow, but okay. So yeah, I don't know if we can play that due to the copyright issues because I don't want to get in trouble. I do follow, and one of the things I've always said is I wanted to get up there. I know this isn't the year, but I've met a few people that have gone up to the memorial that they have every year. They have a very beautiful ceremony. It will be streamed live on Facebook. At some point, I will find that link. But yeah, you can watch the ceremony. It's a beautiful ceremony they have up there. If I come across it, I'll share the link with you.
Have you ever been to the Great Lakes Shipwreck Museum?
That's where they have it,
Upper
right?
Peninsula?
Is that so? That's the in Michigan. So I was looking for that. There we go.
It's about as far away from here as you could possibly get.
Well, what isn't this? Today, everything is that way. So
True.
Yeah. So the Great Lakes, they will have. It actually just started. So the Edmund Fitzgerald, it's actually live right now. But watch us, and then you can go back and watch their live stream. Hang on. Let me see. That's Eastern time. Let me see here.
Carry the one.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure. Well, yeah, they had an event posted, but okay. So yeah, Great Lakes Shipwreck Museum. You can find them on Facebook. They're going to have. Okay, so they're going to have the 50th Edmund Fitzgerald Memorial Service tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern time, not a.m. So it's 7 p.m. Eastern. So 6 o'clock tonight. You can go to shipwreckmuseum.com and watch the ceremony or watch it later. It's a beautiful ceremony. A lot of the surviving family members go up there. I met the guy who sings the song. He's a cover artist that sings the song. So he'll be up there today singing The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. But it was funny because somebody was asking how the weather was. I said, I started mentioning the song, but the gales of November came early and all that kind of stuff. So go ahead.
You guys are also talking about the data centers and why people are opposing them and stuff. And I think, as someone who lives on a well, I mean, this is my biggest issue with data centers. There's countless accounts of these Google data centers going into rural areas of Georgia, for instance, and Bessemer, Alabama comes to mind, where they've actually drained and depleted the local resources of water because that community exists on well water. So my first thought on why this opposition was taking place around here was, I mean, if you're not north of 30, you're pretty much on well water. Crown
right.
Point's on well water.
And we already have concerns about that aquifer in that area. And that was the same issue that I brought up when we were talking about data centers like in St. John. I said, from a logistical standpoint, why would I locate? I have one of the largest bodies of fresh water in the world. Why would I locate 30 miles away from there when I could find space basically within a pipe's length of that water, right? I mean,
Chuck, doesn't it seem to make sense that there's this need for these data centers, and we have multiples of cities who are on the lake who have access to lake water who need redevelopment? Doesn't it seem to make sense?
So again, it's funny, Mott. You and I came to the exact same conclusion, and I've been asking people why that's. I mean, how is it that you have a community?
I could say the same thing for all these fulfillment centers that are popping up all up and down I-65 as well in Maryville.
Well, I mean, the difference with a fulfillment center is it's a big empty space that just needs basic heating and cooling. So they don't need the infrastructure. They don't. I mean, I would assume an Amazon center doesn't have nearly the amount of electricity or water usage that a data center does.
Oh, they need a lot of electricity because they're mostly running on robotics now.
Oh, well, good point. The robot, they got to charge those batteries. But no, it's interesting. Even in my driving around, I'm seeing more of these little solar farms popping up. I was driving through Chicago, Illinois yesterday, and I noticed a couple new ones popping up in farm fields and stuff like that. So again, we're doing this supplemental energy because we don't. This is the same discussion that we had about the electric vehicles years ago. Like this idea of if half the country moves to an electric vehicle and they all go home at 5 o'clock at night and plug in, you're going to just completely cripple the grid. And the data centers are no different. So we're talking about, there was one study that said 10,000 megawatts or something like that of demand and proposed new data centers in Indiana.
Well, we're all going to own our own nuclear power plants eventually, right? Little power generators.
So, and again, it's people say that jokingly, but I do believe that's going to be in the discussion. I've talked to people like at Fermilab. That is their game plan, sort of these hot water heater size nuclear reactors. But the problem is nobody's going to want one in their backyard. But essentially the idea of having one in every neighborhood or in every town, you have one that could potentially power most of the community. But we all have those concerns about nuclear energy because we all grew up in the time of 3 Mile Island, Chernobyl, Fukushima, et cetera. But again, the technology is generations beyond what caused those meltdowns decades ago. It's much safer, but again, it is one of those boogeymen where we just you start talking nuclear and everybody gets scared of having it in their backyard. But
all right, guys, have a great day.
I appreciate it.
Good one.
Mott and I are on the same page on that, and that's one of the things that I want to bring up along the way. So let's take some calls. I know Alice is trying to call in, so let's get through some calls and find Alice. So good morning, caller, you're on the air.
Good morning. This is Alice Plowski.
Hey, you made it. Perfect. Good morning.
Yes,
okay,
I did.
Introduce yourself. Tell everybody who you are, what you do.
I'm Alice Pulowski. I'm with the No Data Center in Hobart, Indiana. I'm on the committee as the moderator, and we are trying to stop this data centers from invading Hobart, Indiana.
So tell people a little bit about, like, for instance, there was a meeting on Thursday. What happened there?
We called for a meeting on Thursday. We had approximately 700 people show up. We were allowed to only speak for 2 minutes. That included our name, address, and phone number, which, a phone number is not appropriate to give out to 700 people. If you went over your 2-minute time, the police escorted you out of the building. There was no democracy there. We had over 50 people talk. Our lawyer is still working on the details. What the planning commission members did on Thursday night by not answering our questions did not constitute as a full public hearing. And that's something that will be fully addressed at our next objections and complaints.
So
they told us all night at the end they were going to answer our questions. And at the very end, they only answered the lawyer questions and his developer or his sidekick, and then adjourned the meeting and answered 0 questions from the public after they promised they would address our issues.
So let's go through some of those issues. Tell us a little bit about what your group's concerns are.
Okay, so our group started actually on September 22nd. As of to date, we have 2.6 thousand members. Our petition is like 1860 strong. We now have a GoFundMe page. Our biggest concern is Devco Providence. They came to be a company in 2/12 of 25. That's this year. They have never built a data center. They want to put in a hyper-scale data center sprawl here in Hobart. We do not want to be their guinea pigs. Burns Harbor, Chesterton, Valpo, and Wheeler all kicked Devco out. But they just keep traveling from city to city to invade whatever city and town they can, and we're next on their list. The thing is, this pollution travels over 20 miles, so it's not just going to affect Hobart. It's going to affect the whole Northwest Indiana area.
So So tell me a little bit about when you talk about pollution, what sort of issues do you imagine come along? So we're basically talking about a 168-acre site. Was it south of 61st in Arizona?
Yeah.
So they're basically looking at developing the site. Tell us a little bit about the pollution, the concerns, what you think will come with this development.
Okay, so, our city, we have 3 lakes. We have a deep river. We also have some Lake Michigan protected shoreline. We have wetlands in that area where they're trying to build with the sprout ditch. They will kill off our wildlife. We have endangered turtles. We have deers. We have eagle nests that we are very proud of. We have several horse farms and animal farms. Virginia says that they no longer have any birds, bees, or butterflies. So where does that go? As far as the air pollution, methane in a small city is a killer. It violates the Clean Air Act and the P225 particles, which are fine inhalable. They will go straight to your lungs and bloodstreams and cause cardiac health issues. There's also formaldehyde that comes out of the power stacks. Those are cancerous material released into the air. And then we have the VOX. The VOX is approximately 1,000 to 2,000. That's way over the national okay line. And also with the then you can go on to the water. Our water might be contaminated by the runoff. And it uses 1 to 5 million gallons a day. And that's half our ecosystem functionally evaporating. And they're also going for underground water. And so we're kind of concerned with our people on wells. We have 1,700 residents on wells in Hobart alone. And if they do this dewatering, they're going to affect all their wells.
So again, I'm in St. John, and I know there were several data center proposals, and I heard similar things, and I've heard the same thing about the wells, and that was a curious thing. Our previous caller, Mott, who's very well versed in sort of these technologies, asked the same question I did. Why would you set up a data center on a well system when you're so close to the Great Lakes, when you have the opportunity to pull from fresh water? And also the question is, I mean, it's sort of the same thing with, any of the other industries, the mill, the refinery, where they pull in water, they have to clean it and put it back. So that becomes a big question for me from that perspective. Is it is interesting to put a data center on a well, because it seems like that is probably the biggest potential hurdle for anybody. But I guess the other thing is, now this is not unique to Hobart, so there are a lot of other communities here in Indiana that are dealing with this. Sort of, what are you hearing as far as this overall data center development?
No one likes it. No one likes it. They all hate it. If you listen to the people in Virginia or in the people in Memphis that already have them built, they're dying. They're literally dying from this. They can't breathe. The senior citizens are getting COPD. They're having health issues. Like me, for instance, I have an aortic aneurysm. This is going to affect my health personally. The trees, buildings, nothing stops the infrared waves. They travel over and around everything. This vibration will cause our wildlife to go away. It will cause serious health issues. It actually starts at your belly, but it works up to your lungs and your heart and your brain. People with heart issues will really need to watch. It also causes depression, sleep apnea. Some people say they're having hallucinations. Children on the autistic spectrum or people with special needs, this is going to be so sensitive to their system. We have to think about our kids. This data center is less than a mile from our hospital, Powers Health. It will affect their MRI imaging because of the vibration. They need to really listen to us. Also, we have schools. We have 2 daycares. We have churches, all within a 1 mile vicinity of this.
So one of the questions that I don't know a lot about, I know that Indiana has become sort of a go-to spot for these data centers, basically because of low taxes and things like that. Do you know what sort of on a state level or what sort of regulations? I mean, I would think that the state would have some sort of regulations about how close one of these can be to a neighborhood, like you said, a school, stuff like that.
Well, they're claiming 500 seats, but that's not sufficient for the noise. If anybody has a whole house generator on their home and that kicks in, you know how loud that is. So could you imagine heavy duty powered, diesel powered generators always running? And we have a guy that lives in Hobart here that works in New Carlisle. He said they never shut them off because it costs more money to shut them off and to restart them than to just keep them running. So those generators most likely will be running 24/7 along with the server fans, the transformers. The noise is just going to be unbearable for all those people that live off of 61st Avenue. You have brand new subdivisions that were put up with, $350,000 homes and up. They're all selling. They're all scared for their lives.
Well, and this becomes
for the tax exemptions. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Due to the state tax exemptions, it's preventing the states from making accurate cost projections. 12 states, and Indiana is included in one of those dark states, failed to disclose the aggravated revenue loss. They don't tell us.
So
they won't tell us how much they lose.
So in this case, you're saying that they're basically giving abatements for the project.
Yeah.
So what in your mind, it's not really a net positive; it's a net negative for the community.
Correct.
Okay.
It will fund just our police and fire, but we think there's so many better alternatives for that land that we can help serve our firemen and policemen better and safer.
Well, and this becomes an interesting issue, and I'll go back to when I first started on these airwaves, when I was a wee lad, probably 20 or 25 years ago. One of the first issues we were talking about is the placement of cell towers. So back then, we were kind of asking, it was kind of a similar issue because everybody wanted to have a cell phone, but we had concerns about where the towers were going. So it sort of became this issue of we want cell phones, so we need cell towers, but do we want them, for instance, next to an elementary school? So it was the same kind of argument, and that was sort of the issue was what I found was that a lot of times, and again, I've dealt with this kind of stuff for decades and decades, working with groups like yours, kind of learning about the process, learning about, what your issues are, how you're being treated, things like that. And that's always the concern is, is there an ongoing dialogue? Is there ongoing dialogue about sort of concessions? I mean, in your case, in your mind, you don't want this at all, but are you willing to make any concessions as far as it being smaller or being further from homes or anything like that?
Because of so many health concerns, the environmental, the air, the water, the electricity, the noise, we don't want it in Hobart at all.
Okay. So now on Thursday, that was the Planning Commission, and that did go through, right? So that went through on Thursday night.
Unfortunately, they did not listen to any of us. Yes.
Okay. So what is the path forward then? What happens next?
We are asking for a large town hall to be at one of the high school or middle school. I think we're going to have it at the middle school auditorium. Unfortunately, due to all the holidays, we might not be able to have that till January, but that holds 1,600 residents. We filled the community center last week. It was standing room only. We're sure in January we'll be able to fill the hall with 1,600. We're growing. Our page is growing by 100 people a day.
Okay, so tell people again, remind people who you are, where they can find you, and just kind of real quick, just tell people what you're working on, and then we got to get to a break. So just go through all that stuff real quick for us.
Okay, so my name's Alice Pulowski. I'm from Hobart, Indiana. I'm the moderator of the No Data Centers in Hobart, Indiana. Please follow our page, sign our petition, get a sign for your yard. I also deliver those. We are fighting this for environmental health, air pollution, water, electricity, noise, the fencing. Are you aware that they put fencing like 12-foot fencing with barbed wire fence, security cameras, security guards? It looks more like a prison than a data center.
That sounds like more of a prison.
And also, if I could just say one more thing, as far as the job constructions for the union workers that they're so involved with, the guy in New Carlisle says only 6% are local, 24% are out-of-state union workers, and 70% are non-union, non-speaking from Mexico or Venezuela. And it is so hard to work with them on a state-of-art facility that is brand new and nobody knows about.
So he's coming. So the New Carlisle is getting something similar right now?
New Carlisle is way ahead of us. Mm-hmm. They have like 15 on one side. They're starting on the other side. They only have 2 buildings up and running. The people in New Carlisle are complaining left and right. We went there to visit them. They told us to stop this at any cost we can. They are suffering greatly. Their wells are all going dry. They are losing power constantly. And these data centers get power before you do. They will even get power before the hospital. That's why Powers Health here in Northwest Indiana, they have to listen.
Well, again, a lot of concerns. I appreciate you calling in this morning.
Keep us updated on things. I so appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Good luck with your fight. I
hope I get over pride.
No, proud. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So let's go ahead and take a break. Because I know we got to catch up. We want to do. We got some calls. We got to catch up on traffic and weather and all that stuff. So why don't we take a break? We'll digest that a little bit. We'll be back with more after this.
If you're thinking of finishing your basement, installing outdoor security cameras, or your business has plans to break ground on a new project in 2024, Powering Indiana, Lake County is your source for the region's best electricians. With IBEW, Local 697 electricians, you're choosing the highest level of safety and reliability. Visit poweringindiana.org today and ensure your project is in the hands of skilled professionals.
From the gas in your car to the heat in your home and the roads that you drive on, our work powers daily life. We are USW Local 71, the proud men and women of the Whiting Refinery. We're not just refinery workers. We're your friends and neighbors, raising our families here, shopping in the same stores, and cheering in the same stands. USW Local 71, powering the region because we are the region.
Are you searching for a college where you belong? Calumet College of St. Joseph wants to know you and give you the support you need to succeed. Are you worried about how you'll pay for your degree? 95% of our students receive financial aid, including scholarships and grants. Need some extra help with your classes? You'll benefit from our small class sizes, free tutoring, internship planning, faculty mentors, and so much more. Come experience our accepting, supportive college family for yourself. Schedule your campus visit and apply at ccsj.edu.
Tech Credit Union supports the essential role of union labor in building strong communities. That's why we offer hassle-free banking, financial empowerment, and a commitment to your success. Save for the future, handle life's challenges, and trust a partner that stands by hardworking union members. Tech Credit Union, the better option for you and your money. Visit techcu.org or call 800-276-8324. Tech Credit Union, supporting union families every step of the way.
At Strachan Van Til, we believe grocery shopping should be simple. Now, shopping is easier than ever with our new and improved website. Find what you need fast. Browse your favorite products, add them to your cart, and check out in just a few quick steps. Choose between convenient in-store pickup or let us handle the heavy lifting. From our shelves to your doorstep. Skip the lines, shop your way, and spend more time on what matters most. With our rewards program, enjoy incredible savings and personalized offers every time you shop. Shop online now at strachanvantil.com or download our app today.
.219 News Now is brought to you by the South Shore Line and by Strachan Van Til, making lives easier for 95 years.
I'm Andrew Garcia, and this is your 219 News Now. Northwest Indiana is bracing for its first snow of the season, which is set to bring excess rates of snow that could make travel difficult. The National Weather Service has issued a winter storm warning Sunday, predicted to last from 9 p.m. Sunday until 6 p.m. Monday, according to their website. Region residents can anticipate more than 10 inches of snow and winds around 30 miles per hour. Lake and Porter counties are expected to experience about 3 inches of snowfall per hour, according to the NWS, as well as northern portions of LaPorte County. A man allegedly robbed a Walgreens while wielding a machete Sunday morning, Lake Station police said in a Facebook post. The suspect entered the store at around 7:05 a.m. in the 3500 block of Central Avenue and left with money from the register, but police did not reveal how much money was taken. No one was injured, police said. Lake Station officers found the suspect before lunchtime and took him into custody, according to the Post. The suspect is at the Lake County Jail on a probable cause hold. Police said they expect prosecutors to file charges by Monday afternoon. The city of Valparaiso has announced that for the duration of the federal government shutdown, it has suspended bus fares on the V-Line intracity service for passengers showing proof of SNAP benefits. The city has also suspended utility late fees and shutoffs for delinquent payments for all Valparaiso City Utilities customers until the shutdown has been resolved. While everyone is feeling some level of disruption, we want to do what we can locally to support residents whose livelihoods and resources may be affected, Mayor John Costas said. And in sports, Lowell meets Hobart for the Class 4A Sectional Championship. The winner moves on to the regional final. Here's a look at the action from that game.
This time at the bottom of your screen. Gives opportunity for Tatum either to throw it quick or run it out for Tolliver. Tolliver to the outside. Great start for Hobart. A touchdown.
And eventually they're going to work their way back in, and then that's when you throw the ball to the edge.
Tech Credit Red Zone. Pickett, goal line. Touchdown. Play action. Kalwinski going to take a shot. Has the receiver, and he makes the catch. This is Sharkey to the end zone. After another first down brought to you by Indiana University Northwest. Tatum, hole opens, middle, touchdown.
The Brickies will now head east to take on South Bend St. Joe's on Friday at 6:30 Central Time for the Regional Crown. To read up on more local news and headlines, visit jedtv.com and nwy.com. I'm Andrew Garcia, and this has been your 219 News Now.
It is 7:30 on the dot here on AM 1230 WJLB. We are hunkered down in the Snowpocalypse newsroom. We will stay here all day if we have to until at least 8:30.
All day. For
all day
another
until
hour,
at least 8:30.
max.
Okay, so we got a new batch of traffic issues to talk about. Let's go through that. So we have earlier incidents on I-65. So let's look at I-65 southbound at 109th. You've got semis blocking the road there. As of right now, they're just saying slow traffic. I was hearing earlier that we had a closure, but now they're saying accident on the shoulder. So we've got incidents down at 109th on I-65. We had an earlier accident southbound at Ridge. Looks like that's getting cleaned up. We have an accident westbound 8094 at Torrance. So you've got 8094 is backing up basically into from Torrance all the way to the boulevard at this point due to the two left lanes blocked at Torrance. So 8094 having issues. Bishop Ford is getting a little better. You had earlier issues on the south end of the Bishop Ford. That's clearing up. You've got issues, Dan Ryan inbound. So basically Bishop Ford, slow going to the Dan Ryan, pretty slow. Had an earlier accident like at where we're like 43rd inbound. Looks like that's been cleared up. We had an earlier incident, Lakeshore Drive. That's been cleared up. So things are getting cleared up, but travel remains sticky. How's that? Sticky travel today. So you're going to run into, like, again, Bishop Ford to Dan Ryan. Dan Ryan's a parking lot. 65 going southbound. Sounds like it's a parking lot once you get to like 109th. So we've still got some traffic issues out there. We'll be keeping an eye on things. Let's take a look at the weather.
Good morning, everyone. Today we're at 32 degrees with highs of 35 and lows of 23. Should be windy with some sun returning, and the storm total of snowfall is 1 to 2 feet. Tomorrow on Tuesday, we'll be having highs of 39 and lows of 33. A snow shower in the morning, otherwise mostly cloudy. And then Wednesday, we'll be having highs of 50 and lows of 34. Should be not as cold with plenty of sunshine.
Okay, so let's take a look. The next big topic, e-learning days. Most schools here in the region having e-learning days. The big exception being Gary Community Schools having a 2-hour delay.
Gary has actually, they have all closed today.
They have closed schools. Okay, never mind. So they're just a little slow.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah, yeah. They're like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Wait, we're the only ones open.
We're the only ones.
Yeah. So let's check that. So basically,
you're welcome, children of Gary, Indiana.
We did this for you. Yeah, 35 minutes ago, they finally closed school. So at 7 o'clock today, 7 o'clock, half the kids are already up, dressed, getting ready for school. They're like, hey, you know what? Why don't we'll go ahead and close now. Thanks.
But now they have their sandwiches, and they're ready to play in the snow.
Yeah, no
How
excuses.
exciting is that?
So, so Gary, the last to cancel school at 7 o'clock this morning. So due to inclement weather, all Gary Community Schools will be closed today. Okay, so that's basically everybody. So essentially everybody in the region having a closure e-learning day. Take your pick. Check in with local authorities for more information.
Are we not local authorities?
I'm not. Maybe you are. I don't know. Do you have a badge or anything? Do you get a town council badge?
No,
like
but I do for my
for your other
for my real job. I do have a badge.
Your other ventures.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the news, traffic, and weather. We covered all that. We had Alice call in at 7 o'clock. Talking about data centers. I know there's a couple people messaging me. They want to chime in on that as well. I know we got a full boat of callers. Let's take those guys. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hello.
Good morning, caller.
Hey, this is Tom. I live in Hobart myself.
Tom, you do indeed live in Hobart. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Resident railroad expert Tom calling in.
Yeah, it's funny because they complain about noise, but they live next to 3 major railroads. These people are completely unhinged, the no data center people. They have not only threatened the mayor, but his family. They're going after councilmen. Half the stuff they're talking about, they pull up AI and take it as gospel. The stuff is completely untrue. They're not pulling from wells. They're hooked up to the water. It's 500 feet off the street. There's a berm because there's ordinances that if you're building a big complex, you have to have a berm and landscaping to hide stuff.
So, again, my goal here on the radio is to let everyone have their say. Alice had her say. You have your say. I know we've got at least one town councilman that's listening. He's going to try to call in at some point. And this is sort of where I was going with this earlier, is this idea of, we need to make sure we understand the facts. And so one of the things, and I'll at some point today we'll mention the video that I was featured in about Munster over the weekend talking about the train. We had a great discussion about that. We really have to make sure that everybody has their facts in order. And far too often, and I learned this going through that whole 10-year process with the train, is that there are things that are out there that are accurate and things that are not, and that becomes the question, is how do we get to sort of the nuts and bolts of what's true, what's not? And I often say that, that is the place of government, to make sure that an accurate picture is going out, and there are people that are, that are going to put different things out there. So, and again, I don't know a whole lot. I've worked in data centers. I've been inside them. I've worked in them. I know a little bit about the smaller ones. I know that they're growing to be much larger complexes than I've ever worked in. So, but again, I can see, they have what I consider valid concerns. There are concerns. You mentioned trains, for instance. There are plenty of people that have complained because they, are next to a yard and there's a train idling, for days on end, and that vibration affects them. So there are valid concerns whenever you build a facility of this size in the community, and I think that's kind of why we put that out there. Is, let's talk about what potential of, let's not always talk about the good things. Let's talk about the bad things as well, and let people make up their minds. And that's always my concern with local government is, as she mentioned, the idea of letting people speak and put out, their opinions. That's always my concern, is let democracy work its way through. Don't escort people. Don't let the police escort people out because they're getting impassioned. I think back to Dalton, where they're locking everybody out when they're having discussions about finances. So, that's sort of my issue. Just make sure that everybody's getting their say in the matter. So, what else?
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've followed this a little bit. They've been very patient with the meetings. The rules were set ahead of time of how a hearing works. These people have obviously never been to a plan commission hearing. And let me tell you, it's the most boring thing you've ever been to. I've been to several of them before this.
You've clearly never been to an economic development meeting, but go ahead.
Yeah. You get 2 minutes to speak, and then your time's up. You don't get your soapbox for as long as you want. I watched council meetings. These people, I think you get 3 minutes at the council meeting, and then they don't want to sit down.
Well,
so obviously you gotta have some order. You got 100 people.
So here's the question, though. Are they having and this would be a question, and I know Bob wants to chime in, put his councilman hat on. When you're having a big discussion like this, I would think that we would want to have more open meetings where you can say, look, we're going to show up at the elementary school. We're going to lay the blueprints out. You can bring your concerns. We'll have experts here, sort of nonpartisan, experts from Purdue or whoever come out. And basically we get to have a discussion. It's not limited, to 2 minutes kind of thing. So if it were me, I would say, is the community having these discussions and working through these concerns? And maybe even if this idea of this group has concerns, they bring them in and say, okay, let's work through these concerns. Can these be, if it's going to happen regardless, can these issues be mitigated as best as possible? Or even can, if I'm sort of indifferent about it, convince me one way or the other. I'm coming into it indifferent, convince me one way or the other. So are they doing that?
Yeah.
That's the question I have.
There have been plenty of experts that have come in, and they shout and boo them off the stage to where they can barely get a word in. Like I said before, they're unhinged. If we could all sit around and have a good conversation, we would get further, but they just want to yell because they're not getting their way.
Okay. Well, again, I've not been to any of the meetings. I've read a little bit about them. So, Tom, appreciate the call. Keep us updated on your side as well. I know you don't live you don't live terribly close to this, but you are a resident in that area. So keep us updated as well. Let us know your thoughts as things progress. So appreciate the call. Next caller. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Bob. Good morning, Chuck.
Good morning, MX. How are you?
Being a Boilermaker in heavy industry and worked all over Chicago, Lake County, one thing that bothers me is why I'm not for it. McDermott said he's going to take the money and fund College Bound. At one time, I was for College Bound. But as professors say, if you're over 55, you're white privilege. I've seen the products on these very airwaves of people that come out of Purdue. And at one time, I was very for College Bound because Jimmy Carter had a program for apprentices, and that's how I became an apprentice Boilermaker. But there was no indoctrination. I don't like to be called white privilege. If I was working, I would like to take anybody up in the air with me and see how long they last. Now,
well, hang on though, just because I got to clarify, just to clean things up a little bit. Mayor Tom is not taking Hobart's money, so we're talking about a separate data center in Hammond. So this is a $7 billion project to expand the current data center at State Line. So this is a separate data center project going on in Hammond, and you're saying that particular one, they're going to take the proceeds from that and put it towards College Bound.
Yeah. At one time I was for College Bound. Number two, if we were against steel mills back in 1800, if everybody ran to the council and was against steel mills, where would we be today? So I would kind of like to be on the board or just give somebody some hints, but maybe I ought to give some people some property relief here because you taxed us to death with wheel tax like we talked about, Chuck, and the food and beverage tax, 400% in the food water bill because of the train. Now, like I said, the Industrial Revolution. Or if they say, well, we don't want the Ford plant here, we don't want Belvedere here, we got to be a little bit more open. Actually, there's a lot of land, and I'm surprised Lorenzo Conclaves ain't got into this because there's an open area at Inland Steel. But me and Lovergirl,
that's a good point, MX. I mean, that's kind of what Mont called in earlier. This idea that we have this land up there. Again, how much of that complex, even Southworks and places like that, how much of that land could be redeveloped? Yeah, I mean, again, it's sort of like it's
the electric furnace,
right? So it's been it's been industrial for 100 years. It is isolated, and that becomes a big question. I'd love to throw that out and say, why are we not redeveloping these sort of available areas of the mills? There's a lot of people that are saying no. Turn that whole thing into, a bike trail or whatever, even though it's had 100 years of industrial waste dumped on it. Again, that makes sense to me. That makes sense. You have these big empty buildings at the mill, redevelop them. It's already, can't really be used for a lot of other stuff. It's already zoned that way. The land's there. Like, why are we not doing that? Again, the State Line project's a perfect example of that. You're tearing down a power plant. The land really doesn't have a whole lot of other uses. You build a data center there, makes sense, slam dunk project, benefits everybody, and it's away from people. So, yeah, I completely agree. Okay, go ahead.
Now, me and Lovergirl, we do a lot of camping. We go down Route 2 to Potato Creek, and I see those data centers. It's pretty big, real big. And I'm open for discussion on it, but I'm not. I was a big fan of College Bound, but when you become a one-trick pony and you slam Trump about everything and Trump never did anything good, And when you call me white privilege, Professor does, I got a huge problem with the college bound. Now, Jimmy Carter, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be the person I am right now and been able to go to apprentice school. But I'll let you go at that.
Yeah.
But I think that's why McDermott's fighting for it, because once somebody's got it, it could be a hidden gem. It could be. I mean, how many people stood up at a council and says we don't want Inland Steel. We don't want U.S. Steel. We don't want.
Well, and that's the difference, though. No, in 1901 or whatever it was, there was nobody here. Gary was a giant sand dune, so there was nobody to say, don't build this here, right? I mean, the steel mill came first, and then the city came around it. So, in that regard, that they didn't have to worry about that. So, okay, MX, I appreciate the call. I know we got a whole bunch of people behind you. I was hoping you'd be riding down the street this morning on your dirt bike, doing donuts in the parking lot, maybe next time it snows. So.
Well, you know what? Are you at the old studios? I already got orders from Jed. I can't do that. Times are different.
We're putting in. We're going to put in some hedges and some spike strips so you can't ride your dirt bike in the new studio. Okay, you take care. Bye-bye. Appreciate it. Next caller. Good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, Chuck. Bob, how you doing, man?
Fantastic.
How are you doing? How are you?
Good. I know you're talking about data centers right now, and your guys' show is so popular. It took me 2 weeks to get through. And
I apologize. We got to.
I
apologize.
am grateful the owner of said station is not coming in and hijacking your show.
Like literally,
so
I expected
that's
the second.
Nice.
Well, the boss just checked in from Lakeshore Drive. He's literally, as you can imagine, he's got his gotchis on and he's roaming the lake right now, downtown Chicago, because of course he is. So no chance of him walking in. But yes, okay. So we got you. We got a few minutes. Go ahead. What's going on?
No, I just wanted to. You and I touched on privately.
Oh, and his phone starts.
About Chris Harden and the documentary he's doing, the 6-part documentary on Gary.
Let's back up real quick and just kind of run people through that. So Chris Harden came to town over the summer. He was here over the air show weekend. He reached out to me. He says, "Hey, I'm going to come do a series on Gary." And I said, if you're going to come, meet the people that live there, talk to them. Let them take you around, and you guys have done a great job. You guys are gracious hosts. You gave him so much information. So he's 2 parts in to what I think will be a 6-part series. And just to digress a little bit, he did on Friday, his new video was about Munster. And if anybody wants to know what is Chuck's issue with the train, there's a nice 20-minute dissertation about my issues with the train. So sort of talking about that. So he hit Munster.
So listen to that, pop a couple melatonin, you're in for a good night.
It's good sleep. But okay, yeah. So go ahead. So talk about the Gary videos.
Well, a dissertation or rant, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it was. You made everything crystal clear about the train going to Lowell, Indiana. So, no, he thanks to you, he called me. We met up, and I told him that I'm not going to be that guy. John Allen, we're not going to be that guy just to sugarcoat everything and show you all the nice new shiny projects that are going on. We started off with 3 closed schools, 2 high schools and a grade school that's been closed for over 25 years, and then commenced to take him around the city. And I'm really glad he's doing it this way. It's a 6-part because there's 6 districts in Gary,
right. Yep.
And he's doing them one at a time. And some of the stuff some of the things he does and shows sting a little, absolutely. But again, none of us wanted to sugarcoat this. We wanted to show you exactly where Gary is now, and the newer things, and unfortunately the older bad things. So, and Jim was in there as well, kind of being the local Gary historian. But yeah, it's exciting to see, and there's a lot of things I did not know. And the last segment was, and he really went in depth about how Gary schools were highly segregated,
right,
and the outcomes there. And that's something I knew absolutely nothing about. And I think that's one of those, again, every city has their dirty little secret, right? And that was definitely it with Gary. And I learned a lot and even text him and thank him for really professionally and eloquently as you can describing the school situation in Gary. But the reality is this, right? I mean, and so I'm anxious to see the next segments. And he did a very good job. Going through one of the last completely condemned schools that's been closed for 24 years was Beckman School. Now there's a $30 million project going in there, which is nice. They tore it down, and I'm with Chris. It hasn't come to fruition yet, but it's one of those, to be cautiously optimistic, right? And a lot of things going on.
This becomes my issue is that we, as a government, we have to stop sugarcoating. And I always use that example of government. Government knows how to grow. Government loves their ribbon cuttings. Government loves their golden shovel. Even, we were breaking ground in St. John. My son's like, what are they doing? I said, they're bringing in dirt, and they're going to pretend to dig the dirt, and that's what they do. Again,
we've got one in Dyer planned next week.
Right. Again, yeah. Bob's going to show up with his golden shovel and his fancy helmet that's shiny and new, and he's going to pretend to dig some dirt and take a picture. But again, that's what you do. I get it. So that becomes the thing is government loves doing that, but government doesn't want to sit down and go, okay, what are the problems? And Gary's an example of that there's a lot of things, like I talked about last time. How do you deal with infrastructure that's not being used and things like there's all these issues, and it's a perfect textbook example of you have to have a government that says, let's be real about our issues. We have to face these issues, but just like any other issue, what do you have to do? You have to acknowledge they exist to fix them. And if you have a government that says, no, everything's fine, then nothing will ever get fixed. And I appreciate the current administration. It looks like they are doing a great job of looking at these issues and saying, how do we fix these? And sort of just, you have to take them on one at a time. It's not going to happen overnight. And so again, I think Gary's in a good direction. I just don't know how long it's going to take. And I hope they, we talked about that outside investment. People show up and say, hey, we're going to build a cell phone company downtown, and then we never hear from them again. You know what I mean? Stuff like that.
Yeah, I think we all know that was a catastrophe, right? That was just somebody swinging for the fence and hoping. You know what? You can't move forward on hope. Right?
Well, Dave, here's the thing.
You need some.
That's the thing that bothers me the most is you keep bringing false hope to people. You keep saying, guys, we're going to build a cell phone. We're going to make cell phones at the Genesis Center and create 500 jobs. You keep at a certain point. It's you keep bringing this false hope. Like, hey, look, this is the that's what bothers me. Whether we're talking about extending a runway or building a train or building a cell phone factory, like you keep bringing people false hope. And they're, that's the thing. It's like, let's be real with where we're at, not just this false hope stuff. Go ahead.
Chris coming from Detroit, there's a lot of similarities, right? They had the auto industry. We had the steel industry. At our peak in the mid-'70s, it was 177,000. Detroit was around 2 million. I know that's a big stretch, but there's so many similarities. I don't know if you heard the one line, it's just my personal opinion, in the second segment, that it's taken Gary 55 years to get here, and it might take us realistically 25 years to get out. There's no one administration, probably 2 or 3 administrations, but what you can do is start the path in the right direction. And the other line I used there, I believe the bleeding has stopped in Gary.
Right.
I believe we really hit bottom, and that's why John and we sat down and said, hey, let's show Chris all the worst things about Gary first, all the closed school, the blight, the communities, the public housing, and then, it's like anything else, right? Psychology 101, you end on a high note, a positive note.
Sure.
And he was surprised we showed him some really, really rough sections of Gary to start off, and then progressively got to, the Grant Street corridor between 23rd and 8094, how that's growing.
Right.
Grant Street corridor is actually growing exponentially faster than the Broadway corridor, which is good to see. I don't care. Progress is progress.
But like I said,
of course,
even
the new
Bob and I were talking about this weekend. We were at Hard Rock. The place was packed. Regardless of your opinion on casinos, there's definitely revenue coming in. So again, that's another good sign that you've got revenue coming in to help fund these things. Okay, so Dave, let's just remind people. So Lynette, I sent you a video to the Jet email. At some point, queue up the second one I sent you, with the one with all the characters. We're going to play that in a second after I let Dave go. But Dave, great job, though. I appreciate you showing Chris around because, again, and the other part of that is, to your point, I wish that we would spend more time, and I don't know if we do this. Are we visiting Detroit and saying, hey, what worked and what didn't? Between Chris and the guy
and Pittsburgh and Cleveland, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Don't go to Carmel, go to Flint, Michigan. Don't go to Carmel, go to Flint, Michigan, and say what worked and what didn't. Because there's all these things like in Detroit.
And you don't,
go ahead.
You don't need to go to Aruba to learn about diversity in Gary.
As it turns out, you don't need a penthouse in Las Vegas. Bring them to you. If you're going to have it,
exactly.
Tell everybody to come here, stay here, and learn about it here, not there. So, okay, Dave.
Detroit, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, they've done all the heavy lifting and hard work.
Right.
Let's learn from them, and I'll leave it with that.
Right, we learn from their mistakes. All these places that have stuff in common, learn from their mistakes. But again, so go ahead. Thanks, Dave, for the call. Go ahead and hang up on him. I want to queue up this clip because this may be the best introduction I've ever gotten. So you've got that one clip. Cue that up. Get it ready. So we're going to talk about the train for a few minutes in the next hour, but I want you to play this clip, Lynette.
Well, there's a lot more to it. For more on that, I reached out to WJOB AM 1230 radio host Chuck Pullen, a.k.a. I Have a Bone to Pick with the New Train and How It's Being Funded insider who knows way more about this than I do. What up, Chuck Pullen?
Thank you, Chris Harden. I appreciate
there's a lot more
the intro.
To
it. So Chris reached out. He goes, reached out last week. He's like, hey, you guys are talking about this train, and I'm doing a video on Munster. Do you know anybody that knows about the train? I'm like,
Poor guy didn't even know what he was getting into.
I'm like, Chris, budget about 2 hours. Let me know when you're ready. Join a Zoom. So we did a deep dive about the train in Munster. We'll touch on that in a little bit in the next hour. That's viciously making.
She's gesticulating wildly over there.
So, but again, Chris Harden on YouTube. Take time. He did a video on Crown Point. He's done a video about Hammond. Great dude. We're going to have him back on. He's doing some great videos about the region, and he really is giving us an unbiased outsider's opinion of our community. So check him out on YouTube. So we'll be back with the latest traffic and weather and school closing updates after this.
If you're thinking of finishing your basement, installing outdoor security cameras, or your business has plans to break ground on a new project in 2024, Powering Indiana, Lake County is your source for the region's best electricians. With IBEW, Local 697 electricians, you're choosing the highest level of safety and reliability. Visit poweringindiana.org today and ensure your project is in the hands of skilled professionals.
From the gas in your car to the heat in your home and the roads that you drive on, our work powers daily life. We are USW Local 71, the proud men and women of the Whiting Refinery. We're not just refinery workers. We're your friends and neighbors, raising our families here, shopping in the same stores, and cheering in the same stands. USW Local 71, powering the region because we are the region.
Are you searching for a college where you belong? Calumet College of St. Joseph wants to know you and give you the support you need to succeed. Are you worried about how you'll pay for your degree? 95% of our students receive financial aid, including scholarships and grants. Need some extra help with your classes? You'll benefit from our small class sizes, free tutoring, internship planning, faculty mentors, and so much more. Come experience our accepting, supportive college family for yourself. Schedule your campus visit and apply at ccsj.edu.
Tech Credit Union supports the essential role of union labor in building strong communities. That's why we offer hassle-free banking, financial empowerment, and a commitment to your success. Save for the future, handle life's challenges, and trust a partner that stands by hardworking union members. Tech Credit Union, the better option for you and your money. Visit techcu.org or call 800-276-8324. Tech Credit Union, supporting union families every step of the way.
At Strachan Van Til, we believe grocery shopping should be simple. Now, shopping is easier than ever with our new and improved website. Find what you need fast. Browse your favorite products, add them to your cart, and check out in just a few quick steps. Choose between convenient in-store pickup or let us handle the heavy lifting. From our shelves to your doorstep. Skip the lines, shop your way, and spend more time on what matters most. With our rewards program, enjoy incredible savings and personalized offers every time you shop. Shop online now at strachanvantil.com or download our app today.
It is 8 o'clock on the dot here in the region. Lynette doing a great job today, keeping us on task. We are firing on all cylinders. We're running this like a real radio station today. It's just a complete coincidence that the boss is 30 miles away doing Facebook Live. So let's take a look at traffic. So traffic, we had a lot of earlier incidents that are being cleared up. We've got, so like the I-65, earlier we had closures along I-65. Looks like I-65 is clearing up. We had an earlier incident southbound 109th. Looks like that's been cleared up. So 65 starting to clear up. Things 80-94 still a little slow going, but we do have an issue on the Illinois side of 80-94. So this is westbound at about Torrance Avenue. We had an earlier accident that had the two left lanes closed. So right now, if you're heading westbound, you're going to hit traffic right around the Boulevard, Calumet Avenue. It's going to be slow going to Torrance Avenue. Inbound Bishop Ford is clearing up. Again, earlier incidents starting to clear up. Bishop Ford looking better than it was. Dan Ryan, still a parking lot. So basically, I would almost just say we're almost back to normal Monday traffic on the roads. But again, still slow going. Just keep an eye out for accidents, things like that. Let us know if you see anything. As far as school closures go, as of this point, most schools are closed. Gary was the only holdout. It is now officially announced they are closed. So most schools closed or having an e-learning day. Most schools closed unless you know otherwise. IU Purdue also closed. So many school closures today. Everybody's doing e-learning, which again, regardless, I guess the one perk of that, Bob, is you're not losing. So it's kind of like they're more likely to call an e-learning day because it's not like you're not completely losing a day. You know what I mean? So you're kind of like, okay.
Do not try to justify.
I'm just trying to justify.
Stealing snow day fun.
But you have 3 days to turn in your work. So you can take the day off, go sledding, come back later, have some cocoa, do your homework, and all that kind of stuff. Some people need to sit on a Zoom. That could have been an email. Some people just have homework they have to turn in. But most schools closed today. Let us know if you hear of any that aren't closed. Lynette, let's take a look at weather.
Good morning, everyone. Today we're at 33 degrees with highs of 35 and lows of 23. We'll be having, it's going to be windy with some sun returning and a total snowfall of 1 to 2 feet. And then tomorrow and Tuesday we'll be having highs of 39, lows of 33, and a snow shower in the morning. And then Wednesday we'll be having highs of 50 and lows of 34. Should be not as cold with plenty of sunshine.
This is the difference between like the region and like Atlanta. Atlanta would be closed for a month if they got a foot of snow. The region, we get a foot of snow and by 8 a.m. it's like, we're good, back to normal. Moving on. So, again, kudos to all the guys and gals that have been out all night plowing. You're the real heroes. We salute you. I know we got a boatload of callers.
No, we don't.
We don't.
We do not.
We did. We do not. Okay, the boatload of callers. I'm sorry we had to get through all that, but call back. We have a literal boatload. We had a boatload of callers. You know why? Because everybody's messaging me going, I'm calling. And I'm like, well, okay, we'll call. And they're like, we're getting voicemail and all this stuff. So maybe the phones have broken in the meantime.
She's just been waiting to look you in the eye and say, nobody wants to talk to
Everybody's,
you, Chuck.
I literally, my phone is blowing up. Everybody's like, I'm calling right now. It's like, okay.
Well, that's because they're calling your phone.
Right, probably. They're like calling my landline that I haven't had in 20 years. Okay. If you're not calling, that's fine. I will move on. I've got plenty to talk about. So, like, for instance.
Please call in. If you don't, Chuck will talk.
No, I was going to let you talk.
Oh,
so
okay. I'm all for that.
We had a breakthrough in the Senate overnight. So go ahead. What did you have on that?
So the Senate, they got, I believe, 8 Democrats to flip around, and so they voted.
And look, so here's the thing. And again, I apologize. Who was the last to flip? Do you know who it was? John Fetterman. So again, I had my concerns about this guy. As it turns out, like a 6'8" guy that wears a hoodie to Congress. Turns out he's who we needed in Congress the whole time.
You know who else I was surprised flipped was Dick Durbin from Illinois.
Maybe that means he's going to retire next year.
Yeah, that means he's gone.
Retiring.
But just because they got to that magic 60 number in the Senate.
But all this means, though, is that they're going to override the filibuster, right? So that's this next
phase.
Correct.
They're still. It doesn't mean that the government shutdown has ended. Any senator can still procedurally hang it up for a couple of days. It still needs to go to the House. Which, assuming they have the votes over in the House. Again, just because they reached an agreement last night doesn't mean that magically the government's open today. It's still going to be a little bit.
So I think really it seems like the breaking point was this air traffic issue. It was sort of like, okay, we kept joking, well, it doesn't really affect me. But then we got to a breaking point where they said, you know what, we just can't keep the air travel open. We've got nobody's getting paid. We're going to start cutting back on air travel, and I think that was sort of like
I think it was not just the commercial air travel that workaday folks run up to Midway and fly out. I think we were going to start to see some serious impact on cargo travel. So
going into the Christmas holiday now,
yeah.
This is where they should have started this. They said, look. If the government shuts down, you will not get your Amazon packages on time. This would have never gotten this far. Probably.
And so it, surprisingly wasn't the pressure from things like SNAP benefits, the hundreds of thousands of federal government employees that haven't been paid for 30, 40 days, whatever it is, that, we are so dependent as an economy on transporting of goods that I think that is really what ended up bringing folks back to the table. And I think part of the agreement was, okay, we're going to do I think there's 2 or 3 different, I think they're calling them minibus bills that I don't know. That's for them. But I think in the end there was no agreement on extending the any of the Obamacare financing. So I think that's going to be something they're going to tackle in the future. And
well, that goes to the heart of the omnibus stuff. It's like, okay, instead of having discussions, even like what we were talking about earlier with the data set, instead of having discussions about each issue individually, it's like we're just going to cram everything in. It's like a take it or leave it, take all this stuff, whether you like it or not. And, of course, both sides are going to cram stuff through that the other side doesn't want. And instead of having a dialogue, instead of saying, okay, let's discuss these things line by line, it's like, yeah, we're ramming it through, take it or leave it, and nobody leaves the table happy. Do we now have a boatload of callers? They say 2 callers. We're 2/3 of the way to a boatload of callers. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Tammy?
I'm good, Chuck. Good, Bob. Nice and sunny out here now in Crown Point.
So you sent in a photo earlier. You had an official foot of snow. That's our official snow total from the unincorporated Crown Point area is 1 foot of snow. And obviously you're in the area of the data center. I think you wanted to chime in on that. So what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm not in the area of the data center, but my cousin is.
Okay.
And she just got a house built, dream house, 2 years ago, and now she wants maybe, if this goes through, might have to move after having her dream house built. I am not for it. I don't want to see my cousin have to move, especially after getting her dream house built. I'm just not for it. I read up on it. Me and you talked about it, Chuck. I know you said that small, the hospitals, it's not so bad. It's not going to leak pollution, but you're killing off the wildlife. She loves her deer. She loves her birds. I don't want to see this happening. I don't want to see my cousin move.
Well, and this becomes the issue. And sort of what I was talking about earlier with Alice was I remember having these discussions, 25 years ago when we were putting cell towers everywhere. This becomes a question. We needed cell towers because now everybody has a cell phone and needs cell coverage, but we didn't want to put them in certain places. So that becomes sort of, and that was sort of my point earlier that Dave and I brought up. We have all this land up by the lake that was industrial. It's by a fresh water. I don't get, in the same question I had when we were talking about data centers in St. John or anywhere else, it's like, it doesn't make sense to me as an engineer to put a data center in the middle of a farm field on a well, so far away from fiber, so far away from power. It doesn't make sense to me. And that's what I don't get is why are we choosing these areas like Hobart or St. John or what have you, when you have this land in like Gary on the lakefront or even in Hammond on State Line to be developed. Why are we putting data centers in the middle of nowhere? But we can't pretend, everybody can't be a hypocrite and say we don't want data centers, but you're going to go home at night and fire up Amazon. Do you get what I'm saying? We need
I did.
We need the data centers. Otherwise, we're all going to complain that Amazon's buffering and Amazon isn't or Netflix is buffering and Amazon isn't working. So we need the data centers. The question is, where do we put them, and how do we do it in a way to not ruin this, quality of life for the neighbors? So again, valid questions, but we can't just say, if everybody says new data centers, then we're basically the Amish. You know what I mean? Like, that's the question. We need to find a way to put in data centers without ruining people's lives in the process.
Well, like I would say smaller ones, and even if you have to build a hyperscale, put it by the lake. Put it by the lake, like you said, Chuck. Put it by the lake.
Right. So again, lots of questions. And that's always my concern with these big government projects is, are people getting the opportunity to speak? Are these people getting the opportunity to have their say? Are they getting their concerns addressed? Or are they being, like I said, like when I talked about the train, we get shoved in the corner and nobody wants to answer questions. So that's always my concern.
And that's exactly what the city of Hobart's doing. They're not letting everybody voice their opinion, their concerns. They're just pretty much shutting them out.
Right. And that's one of the things, and if they're listening, that's one of my concerns, and that's one of the things is that we need to, there are people that have genuine concerns. We need to hear from them, and that's why I had Alice on. That's why I had you on and Tom on, and anybody else who wants to call to talk about the data centers, because it's an issue that's going to affect people's lives, and we need to make sure that we understand what's coming. So, hey, I appreciate the call, Tammy. I appreciate the photo earlier. Stay safe out there. Anybody else? Yeah, well, it's okay. So you can text me what you're thinking, Tammy, but go ahead. Next caller. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Looks like the government is about to open back up.
Right.
A couple of issues I want to talk about. The government opening back up, and then I'll talk about a local issue here. Right now, I said all along, when the Republicans got a whipping on Tuesday, and I may have said it on your show, maybe I said it on the Tuesday show, that the government will be opened back up because they've got a real whipping. They were blaming everything on the Democrats. And they lost every election across America, okay? Now, I know some people don't want to hear me say that. They say, well, you're talking politics. Well, politics is very much involved in everything life we do. It's even in the churches, politics, control. And Donald Trump just needs to learn how to be a president. If he told Johnson, how fast did Johnson jumping on that plane going back to Washington now? Because Trump said, hey, look here, we need to open up the government. Well, when this lady from, I think from Georgia, Taylor Greene, she said, my people are hurting. They don't have food. And people say, well, no, I don't care whether they have. Some of the people said, and I know some people, I won't call names, they didn't care really nothing about helping the needy.
Okay,
and
so
Taylor Greene being Taylor Greene being a conservative Republican fell out with her party and said no. He said she was for opening up the government, but she wasn't about the taking away the SNAP and all those things that these crazy people were talking about. You know, so I'm just saying we have to. This is America. We all ought to enjoy things. If you don't have anything, I ought to be able to say we want to try to help you. Nobody is as fortunate as a guy who's made over $4 billion since he's been in office less than a year. You know, so I'm just simply saying that right now, let's just not blame everything on Democrats. Democrats are
okay. Well, no, so remember, Ron, I'm the one who blames both parties equally, and I always say if you have issues with
no, you do, no, you do, but you know on this day you got these things. Why did Biden open up? Why did Biden do this? Why did Biden do this? Let's stop talking about that. Let's start talking about you in charge now. Do you believe? I'm gonna ask you a question. Let's take one at a time. Do you believe that the Speaker of the House, Johnson, take his orders from Donald Trump?
Are you asking me rhetorically?
Yeah, I'm asking you a question. Okay.
Look, again,
Go ahead.
at the end of the day, I am the least optimistic person when it comes to the inner workings of Washington, D.C. So, yes, I think if you're asking me, Ron, honestly, I think that both sides were playing politics with people on SNAP benefits, and the fact that it took this overnight 8 Senate Democrats had to break ranks with their party in order to get this done. I mean, again, both sides. And like you said, you pointed it out. Everybody sees it. It took until the election on Tuesday to break this.
Okay.
So both sides,
I want you to be honest.
both sides are playing politics with people's benefits and with people's lives.
So what's going to happen now? They had to go before the House of Representatives, and I guess they have been called to Washington because I understand. I was watching closely. I watched this thing closely as Donald Trump got off this plane, was down there. At the same time, he got off this plane. And they basically say, you know, we need to open up the government. Well, what's happened to him? But he said it, and basically he blamed some of his Republican friends for government being shut down, saying, you know, they didn't want to do what they were. Well, they were doing what they were told to do. They were told to do that. You know, and when we have a situation like that, I'm sorry. I think you try to be fair-minded about it. You say both sides. You do say both sides, you know. But there are some people, you know that you on this. You got 3 or 4 people say the same thing. Now I heard people talking about the everything is going. Everything, the economy is not bad. That was number one concern in America, the economy. Republicans and
Ron,
Democrats.
what I was saying. Here's what we were saying, Ron. Go ahead, Bob.
I want to add this too. So there
Hey,
might.
Bob. Hey, Bob.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Bob.
There might be
How
some.
you doing, brother?
I'm fantastic. I'm enjoying the weather. But here's one thing where I would say I don't think that Speaker Johnson is taking his orders from Trump. Listen. Because I heard you call in last week about this. If Trump is out there saying we want to reopen the government, and if that were so, Speaker Johnson would call for would call to reopen it. But if you remember when our local representative Mervan was here last week, he was crying that Johnson was not going to call them back in. So either Johnson is, I mean, the only explanation for that is Johnson isn't following Trump's orders because you just said it. It's out there. Trump wants it open.
But here's the thing, though. Why I don't get what is in it for Trump to shut down the government? Because again, everybody's blaming him for the shutdown, and you're saying everybody's taking their marching. What is in it for him? This is the same guy who said, what did he say years ago? That Biden or it was Obama. He said Obama should resign because the government shut down. So again, same idea. Like there's nothing in it for Trump for the government to be shut down.
Yeah. First of all, what's the issue with me and most people in my community that I live in? They are concerned with health care, Medicare, and Medicaid. Now, Trump went in the first 4 years, we're going to get rid of things. They didn't find anything any better, so you're still stuck with Obamacare, okay? You're still stuck with it. So I'm saying he talks out of both sides of his mouth, and nobody, I think independents would probably like you all might be independent in terms of thinking. Nobody can see any wrong that he's doing. And I'm just simply saying that Frank Mervan, who's our congressman, he deals with people. He comes into neighborhoods and where the people really, maybe, you know, if you go to where Trump lived, maybe people don't need, they don't need SNAP. They don't need this. And it's sad. And I'm just glad that I think the government will be open up. And basically, I think they're saying for a year, and then they'll try to find, and then they might come back. And it might be another shutdown later on, because the Democrats are not going to go along with their people. America spoke well and loud. It wasn't what Ron said, what Bob said, or anybody else said. They listened. The American public spoke out, and it was just a landslide for the Democrats.
Okay, so Ron,
they didn't see it being one-sided. They seen it being the Republicans' fault. Will you agree with that?
We're going to have to get to a break, so hit your other topic, so we can so we don't run afoul with Lynette. So what was you want to talk about something local?
Okay. Now let me ask you this. I had a friend told me that his utilities NIPSCO. From my understanding, NIPSCO, every household here in Gary, Indiana, and everything is, and I have tenants. They said they NIPSCO bill went up about $50 a month.
On average, I think it was $44 or something like that on average.
Okay, but I think he said his went down. Now, he's not the only one that I know heard that. And when I asked him, I said, what do you mean? I said, I need to check and see why mine went up to $62 went up. And I got a big house, but I'm on a budget plan too. So yes, NIPSCO right now is really doing something unfair, and it's going to be told pretty soon.
Well,
because
and that's
those people,
right, Ron, and that's one of the arguments about the data centers is it's going to bring this massive new demand to the grid, but then also they're spinning off a separate company specifically to bring power to the data centers. They're going to get a much better rate than you are, and again, that's the concerns about data centers and things like that. So
okay. Can I give you one? Can I give you one last thing? I know I said it. Okay. Right now, tariffs. We got Trump has bragged about him tariff. He's going to charge these people. Who end up paying more? Kuzak, I believe, he's in construction. Everything he gets now, if it comes from what he has come from over there, he's going to have to pay more. He's going to charge people more. Tariffs was not good for the American public. I mean, it was good for people, but right now, who makes all those chips and stuff that goes in these cars? You know, now you're going to slap it on them. So when I go out there to get something to put in my car, I'm just saying, I think it's crazy, these tariffs. If Donald Trump had to pay it, then I wouldn't mind. But we got to pay that. You got to pay that. Okay? With that, I'm going to let you hang up. You can deal with that.
I appreciate it, Ron. Let's go ahead. Let's take a break, and we got some more We have a half a boatload of callers. I'm just going to put it out there. So let's take a break. We'll be back. We'll be here for another
one person dialed the wrong number.
Yeah, like, is my school closed? We used to get those all the time. That was good times. Let's take a break. We'll be back with one more segment here on WGLB.
Life's biggest challenges don't come with a warning. When legal issues arise, whether it's a car accident, personal injury, criminal charge, or representing you before municipal boards, you need a trusted advocate on your side. At Westland & Bennett, we listen first because your story matters. We provide strategic, personalized legal solutions to protect your rights, your freedom, and your future. Peace of mind starts with a conversation. Call 219-440-7550 today for a free consultation.
Becoming a truck driver doesn't have to be complicated. At Schneider, we make it easy to get your commercial driver's license and start your new career. With our CDL apprenticeship training, you'll get paid to become a truck driver in just 5 to 6 weeks and have a Schneider driving job waiting for you when you've completed the program. Plus, during training, Schneider will provide transportation, lodging, and meals at no cost to you. Ready to get your career on the road? Learn more and apply today at SchneiderJobs.com. That's SchneiderJobs.com.
At Strachan Van Til, we believe grocery shopping should be simple. Now, shopping is easier than ever with our new and improved website. Find what you need fast. Browse your favorite products, add them to your cart, and check out in just a few quick steps. Choose between convenient in-store pickup or let us handle the heavy lifting. From our shelves to your doorstep. Skip the lines, shop your way, and spend more time on what matters most. With our rewards program, enjoy incredible savings and personalized offers every time you shop. Shop online now at StrachanVanTail.com or download our app today.
Hard Rock Casino Northern Indiana wants to make you a winner every Friday in October with our $500K Double Down giveaway. Earn entries each week to boost your chance of winning a guaranteed $50,000. Then you can choose to walk away or risk half for a shot at $100,000 in cash. Do you dare to double down? Only at Hard Rock Casino Northern Indiana, just off Exit 6 I-80-94. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Siri, read me that text.
Sorry, I can't complete your request.
You want me to read that?
No, I got it.
Construction zone.
I see it.
Watch it! Oh my god! You're gonna hit him!
Oh, fuck!
When driving in a construction zone, be smart, be alert, be in the zone.
This is Brian Short, Business Manager for the Indiana Laborers District Council. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, save lives. We're all in this together.
A message from Indiana's District Council of Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
.25 in the region. We are putting traffic and weather and school closures to the forefront today. So let's take another look at traffic and weather. So a lot of the earlier issues that we were seeing have cleared up. 65 was looking better. It looks like we have a new issue. 65 northbound at, say, 61st Street. So let's say if you're heading northbound, 61st to 30 looks like they have some slowdowns. The rest of the region looking pretty good. So a lot of the issues that we saw earlier have been cleaned up. We had an earlier issue, westbound, 8094 at Torrance. Looks like that has been picked up. So 8094 rolling a little bit better than it was. There's still some residual issues on the Bishop Ford. So on your way inbound, you're going to hit some traffic on the Bishop Ford. Dan Ryan clearing up a little bit from earlier incidents, but still you're going to have your normal Monday commute, Bishop Ford to Dan Ryan. Other than that, things looking good. Earlier issue on Lakeshore Drive looks like it's been cleaned up. The rest of the Illinois roadway is moving along pretty well because Illinois not hit nearly as hard as we were. Official storm totals, I heard about a foot out in the Crown Point area. But so again, for the most part, traffic moving along well. Let's take a look at weather.
Good morning, everyone. Today we're at 33 degrees with highs of 35 and lows of 23. Should be windy with some sun returning with total snowfall of 1 to 2 feet. And then tomorrow on Tuesday we'll be having highs of 39 and lows of 33 with a snow shower in the morning. Otherwise mostly cloudy and increasingly windy. And then Wednesday we'll be having highs of 50 and lows of 34. Should be not as cold with plenty of sunshine.
Fantastic, thank you. And then we also are keeping an eye on schools. Most schools are closed or doing an e-learning day. So most municipal schools, IUN and Purdue, most schools are closed, including Gary, who earlier was doing 2-hour delay. They have officially closed. So everybody essentially closed or doing an e-learning day. If you've heard otherwise, let us know, but we're just going to put it out there. Everybody doing e-learning today. Also, Walt called in earlier to remind us about Veterans Day tomorrow. Go to Chili's. Go to Qdoba, all these different places, Applebee's. You can get a free meal if you're a veteran. Go check that out. Tammy sent me a thing just to remind us we also have Veterans Day ceremonies going on tomorrow. So tomorrow, American Legion Post 20 is going to be doing an event on the steps of the historic Lake County Courthouse at 10:30. So all sorts of Veterans Day activities tomorrow. Go out, think of that, all that good stuff. Thank them for their sacrifices and everything they did to keep us free so that I can come in here on a Monday morning and just rant for 2.5 hours. And occasionally Bob chimes in. Chime in, Bob.
I tried to, but all the oxygen is just thrown to that side of the room. I got to laugh.
Lynette's
out of
laugh. Oh, that's fine. You guys just do a segment. I'll just let you guys talk. I'll just sit here and shut up, and you two just
we're good,
talk
we're good.
amongst yourselves.
I do want to say one thing about the last caller, and I doing this. I hate to bring up topics after the caller's done because they can't, then say anything.
He'll
after
call
that.
in next week.
And that's fine. Call next week. I will say I don't think that the elections last week were a total Republican slaughter, and this is why I say this. Look at where some of these elections were held.
States that are basically blue states.
If I ran for city council in Gary as a Republican, I might get 9% of the vote. But then for the next day, for the headline to say Republicans get slaughtered in Gary City Council elections, it's like, well, yeah, obviously. So I mean, I just don't know. I think there is some context to that. I think if you want to look at, if there are, future political, slaughterings to be had on the ballot, look at the midterms. I do agree they're going to punt this Obamacare funding through the midterms next year. We're going to go through this again. It's rinse and repeat. And
right. I mean, the expectation is that when you have a Republican in the White House, he's probably going to lose the midterms. They're going to lose control. I mean, again, it's expected because, again, we love our gridlock in Washington.
For the same reason why, typically whatever party takes the presidency, odds are the next midterm it swings the other way.
But this is the same discussion that Dave from Gary called in earlier. The same discussion about divide and conquer. Don't slam everything into a 2,000-page omnibus bill, and nobody's happy, and we increase the debt, and nobody gets what they want. Nothing gets solved. Like this is where we need to stop with this. The bill is printing as the congressman's running to the floor to vote on it and things like that. This is the inherent problem, and there's no real acknowledgement of the problem besides a few people. So it's not going to get fixed. I mean, and that's the inherent problem in Washington is they love their gridlock, they love their omnibus bills and all that stuff. So again, the idea that anything's going to get done, not going to happen. So do we have a boatload of callers? We have 2 boatloads. Okay, let's start there. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
What's up, Ozempic brothers? How you guys doing?
Hey, I am doing it the old-fashioned way. I'm eating. I'm going to go on a soup diet. So I've been doing. I am actually, believe it or not, I'm down a few pounds. We started working out. I started kind of watching my calories and stuff like that. So I'm taking. I'll be honest. I mean, I don't talk about my life a whole lot, but my younger brother had a little scare. So it's kind of like it's been a wake up call for all of us. We're
your younger brother.
My younger brother had his first grabber, as they call it. Luckily,
you got to be kidding me. How old is he? He's like 12.
Yeah, he's like 12. No, he is not even 40 years old yet. But it was a wake up call for him. He's lucky to be there. My brother Fred.
Now let me just guess. He's exceedingly overweight, right?
Okay. Again, this is why I don't talk.
Check.
But again,
thank you very much.
Yes. So guess what we're doing? We're counting calories. We're looking at our blood pressure and our sugar and all that. So he is lucky to be here. We're lucky.
Good for him, man.
And so we're getting his life in track. And at the same time, I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I'm going to do the same thing. So again, we come from a family with heart issues, so we're taking this seriously, and we're going to make sure that he gets his life in order. I'm going to do the same thing. Okay.
And how about you, Bob? You sound kind of silent there. I'm guessing you're still going to be on your way over to the Homewood. What is it called? Krispy Kreme right after the show, right?
If that red light's on, brother, man, I am screaming down the expressway. Maybe not today.
Dude, I can't get to Homewood quick enough sometimes to grab those boys. They are the best donuts on planet Earth.
Boy, they just fill a void in my life. I had my sister came in town over the weekend, and her and her husband, and the first thing she said to me, she said, have you lost some weight? And I thought, boy, that was awfully kind of you to say. For whatever reason, there is a mental.
Was she lying, or did she just want the better spare bedroom?
Yeah, I think that's probably what it was.
If you lost some weight, I need to borrow some money.
Yeah.
Something's coming here. There's a hook. I can feel it.
I need you to co-sign for my car.
I need you to co-sign.
I need a co-signer.
No, I tell you, I as much as I like to say, I try. I hit maybe 35 pounds heavier maybe a year and a half ago, and I kind of plateaued at that, and I just can't seem to. I don't know.
Are you stuck at the plus 35, or are you back to where you were?
No, I'm back to where I was. And I had a we're coming up on a year since my mother passed away, and I had a really hard time dealing with that as we now enter Bob's therapy hour here on the radio. But so I'm back to the weight before everything happened with her and happened with the family. So I'm happy about that. I just seem to have plateaued, and I think I'm at the point now where I need to really start getting into that calorie deficit, and I don't know if anybody's got any tips aside from, well, don't just eat that fatty.
Eat less.
I'd love to hear it.
Soup diet. I'm having soup for lunch.
Yeah, the soup does you pretty good, man, because it's just all a lot of liquid and broth, and if you go with a lot of veggies and stuff in there. I'm kind of doing the soup thing myself. Whipped up some homemade stuff, and hasn't killed me yet, but I'm trying to get a little lower. But we'll see, though. But
the
hey,
two
so
soups,
real quick here,
two soups I like are vegetable and chicken shell.
Okay,
those are mine.
Yeah, but don't get that stuff like that Hungry Man crap and everything. You know what I'm talking about, right?
The steak and potatoes. Yeah, that you might as well have steak. And
yeah, that stuff. I mean, you might as well just open up the Twinkies again, dude.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Yeah, some of those cans of soup, man. You just got to go with a lot of broth in there,
Yeah.
Or just make your own. It's not that hard. Even I can cook,
The last time I tried that, I cut my thumb off, so I pretty much stick to Progresso at this point.
They make steel gloves for that, bro, and they got veggie choppers you can do too. So yeah, you stay away from knives, Chuck. You're not good with that stuff. But regarding your last caller with the Republicans got wiped out. Listen, it was 3 blue states and a bunch of morons voting for a jihadist in New York City. So, you guys got exactly what you wanted. Good luck when your place falls apart in about 18 months. Hell, the governor of the state is already against the mayor of New York now, the upcoming mayor.
Okay,
so
let me digress for a second
go.
because it is interesting, and this is something where Bob can chime in or something. This idea that when people run for office and they don't seem to understand how the office works. And I always go back to the guy that was running for town council here in one of the communities and kept talking about the school lunch program and stuff like that. It's like, see, you are so far out of your league. Stay in your lane. And of all the things that a town councilman can't fix, the school lunch program pretty much at the top. And that really makes me wonder if you understand the job description, if you think town councilman means you can fix the school lunch program.
That is an epidemic with elected officials, especially at the local level. And I can say this because I mingle with them all the time. The idea of staying in your lane, knowing what your role is. When you're elected to town council, it basically police, parks, and paving. That's all you're in charge of.
Right, but the point I was making, though, is that when you have Mamdani talking about these things, and even Hochul's like,
they
you
have
no
clue.
control over
no
that.
Clue
like
what
that's
you're talking
that's
about.
me, and I don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's even the idea of like, hey, here's what I'm going to do, and even your governor shows up and goes, yeah, that's not how that works. I mean, that's a concern when you hire a 34-year-old kid to run the biggest city in the country. As it turns out, he may not be ready for it, and that's the question. Like, even like somebody like Bob or anybody else, like people come to me and say, hey, you should run for Congress. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm good where I'm at. Stay in my lane. Like I would go to like town council before I run for Congress or mayor of the largest city in the country.
Did you just announce?
No, stop. I'm just saying, like, I'm smart enough to know I'm not ready to run for Congress. I'm not ready to run for president.
But to be honest, have you paid attention to the people that are there? They weren't ready to run either.
But I don't want to make that same mistake. But go ahead, Mad Mac. What else?
I was just going to say, Chuck, if I had to pick who's most of the Democrats in Congress now over you, I think I'd go with. I'd take my chubby little Chuck. I'd vote for you 3 times, bro.
Chubby little Chuck. That's going right on my yard sign. Vote Chubby Chuck for Congress.
Chubby little Chuck.
Chubby Chuck for Congress.
Oh, we can do that now with redistricting.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah, because the last time I checked, the guy who's in office now, Mr. He's on top of everything, Frank Mervan, you knew they were going to have 8,000 meetings for this electric raise, and then Ron's going to tell us one of his tenants had his electric rate go down. Yeah, that's because they pulled the meter. He didn't pay for it. So nobody had their electric rates go down. Not a person in the area. Never.
Right. But again, this would be a good time to remind people, like, this is the time of year to go around, make sure, you got your window seals in. I use all sorts of little, plastic strips and stuff. Make sure you've got, your door seals. make sure your light bulbs are
make sure your windows are even latched shut, man. I know.
Yeah, well,
I was just at a house working in White Oak Estates, and I'm like, hey, you guys do know you got it's like 20 degrees upstairs, so we haven't been up there in like 5 months. Yeah, well, you get the window, you don't even have them latched.
Well, even then, I've got one window that latches, but then there's this little draft, so I put in a little piece of foam. Something silly like that can really add up. You know what I mean? Like those little things where, what's that old like walk around your windows with a candle or something, and if it blows out, you got a problem.
No, that's for gas lines. Yeah, walk around with a match, and if it blows up, you made a mistake.
The opinions of Mad Mac do not represent
Just
those
kidding.
Okay, yes.
Hey, 2 more things for you, or 3 more real quick.
Oh, no.
Ford Electric dumped the Ford Motor Company dumped the electric truck finally.
Yeah, again, what was it? The Lightning, $100,000+ for a work truck. Nobody was paying that.
They lost $2 billion. I think it was something like $2 billion+ making just on the trucks alone.
And look, I want to be the one. I've been on these airwaves for whatever it was, years and years, saying this isn't going to work. Stop wasting money. Stop throwing money at these EVs. Nobody wants them. It's not going to work. It's going to cripple the grid. And finally, billions and billions and billions of dollars later, we're finally going, hey, maybe this isn't going to work.
But see, part of it though, we paid for with the subsidies that they got for going all that electric.
Right. It was the billions of dollars lost, and then we go, wait.
We got totally hosed on that. You see the 2 people who run British, what is it called? British, what is it called? BBC? What does that stand for?
Yeah, British Broadcasting.
British Broadcasting Corporation. The 2 people at the top resigned because it turns out, they re-edited everything and lied to make it look like Donald Trump put those people in the January 6th thing and said attack the Capitol and overturn the government. And it turns out they got caught, they resigned, they've apologized, and now they're going to retool the entire thing because they all got caught lying.
So this is
again,
the BBC Director General Tim Davie resigned for that. And again, that's nothing new. We heard that.
And the woman right below him.
And hopefully not literally, but figuratively.
Oh, geez, Chuck, come on.
Okay,
come on, Chuck. This is a family show.
Okay, one last thing: the data center in Crown Point. Remember when they told us this electric train, the South Shore, was going to work? And it was going to be no problem. It was only going to be 300. Well, now 300 mil. Now we're out $2 billion. If you walk up there, your genitals get electrified. If you people in Crown Point think that sucking out
between that
a trillion gallons, if you think taking 1 trillion gallons of water out of the ground down in the greater Crown Point area isn't going to have some kind of detrimental effect because some engineer who couldn't plant a seed of corn in the ground, he's going to tell you it's going to be okay. You believe that?
No, we all agree.
I can tell you.
Okay, well, speaking of the train, Chris Harden on YouTube, check out his latest video about Munster. Yours truly featured for many, many minutes.
That's because you're the star, Chuck.
Thank you. I appreciate it. No,
will you autograph my VCR copy of that for me, please, Chuck?
Yeah, you find me. I need a VCR to copy some old videos. So if you have one, let me know.
Oh, I got like 12 in my basement. One of them's holding up my couch right now, but I'll give you that one.
If you got a Betamax, I need one of each. But yeah, let me know. I need a couple of those. Appreciate the call. But yeah, check that out on YouTube. If you're ever wondering, why does Chuck hate the train so much? There's a 20 solid minute dissertation on why Chuck hates the train. But he doesn't hate the train. He hates government boondoggles. So, okay, we are wrapping up. So I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it to we don't have to.
Well, no, let's do that.
Okay, go ahead. You have your thought. If Lynette has anything she wants to add, go ahead. Go ahead, Bob. You start.
Oh, it's me.
Either one of you.
You were tossing it over.
Go ahead. Either one of you. I don't care. She's the one on the button. We can go as long as she wants.
Hey, what do you got to say? What are your thoughts in there?
What say you?
We have 2 more callers.
Okay. Well, there you go. What say you take some calls? Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
I want to say, number 1, free Dave Kuziak. Number 2, I want to give compliments. You did an excellent job, Chuck, with Mr. Harden, explaining in detail the debacle that is now going to basically come to a fruition, regardless whether you think it's good or bad. But you did an excellent job in pointing out the flaws that some of us been talking about for years now. But that's typical, and number 2, you do a good job too with the Republican this goes to you, Mr. Starkey, in regards to the
Republican
show, because typically, I'll be honest with you, I'm typically not a fan of the just talk and talk and talk. The last two Republicans you had on there, Mr. Ursi from Gary and Mr. Peterson from Munster, those are true Republicans. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Peterson especially, he's not one of these, quote unquote, I'm a fiscal conservative, but I'm a moderate at the social issues. But I used to be that until we get people on the Supreme Court that cannot define what a female is. Those are the exact Munster Republicans that Chuck Pullen was running away from. And there's many of them out there. But you know what? I want to talk about this notion of somehow the hypocritical nature of people that speak in regards to our local elected officials in Washington. Isn't it funny when a Republican does something? It's always, well, Donald Trump's telling them what to do. He's not independent. But when we say the same thing about the local Democrat, they tell us how tough he is, where he grew up, how you knew his dad. But then you point out the voting record, which so many of these people, and many of the people that call this show, they don't look at the voting record. It's just so hypocritical. And my theory if your theory is, I'm going to send a Republican to Washington, and no matter what I say, that Republican's going to do what the majority party says.
Even like earlier, I was talking about Fetterman. Kudos to him. This guy has been a standout. He has been a guy who's been standing up and going, you know what? I'm breaking with my party because that ain't right. He's done that several times now, and kudos to him. And he's really showing what a stand-up guy he is. And again, people were criticizing him always wearing a hoodie and all this. Who cares? I don't wear a hoodie to Congress if you're going to be, you're going to be a down-to-earth guy that's going to go, hey, that ain't right. I don't care what my party says. Kudos to you, man. We need more people like that.
But I wish they would call up and say when they disagree with their party. You see what?
Right.
You do it all the time. I know. Technically, Chuck, I got your political thinking, but you got to admit you praise not necessarily establishment Republicans, but you praise the Rand Pauls of the world.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The same with Fetterman, Rand Paul, Fetterman, those kind of guys, Thomas Massey. Those are the guys that I want to see more of.
So I wish these people on the other side, the diehards, tell me when one of your locals is doing something that's counterintuitive to your political thinking. They never do it. I bring up Mr. McDermott from Hammond, the mayor of the city of Hammond, and I'll say it and I'll say it again. He's the only local elected official that repeatedly used to criticize his own party.
Right.
I don't hear that from some of the same, praise this one, praise Vliskovsky. Mr. McDermott was critical of Mr. Vliskovsky when he was in office.
Well, but here's the other problem, though. Think about let's say Bob came on these airwaves every week railing against local Republicans. Okay, but if he came out here railing against Republicans, his fundraisers would be kind of quiet. It'd be him and me and his wife and his dad hanging out there because nobody'd want to support him. So you have to play that game.
You got to play the game,
right?
But my point is, going back to my comment about these local Republicans, I promise to you, Mr. Stark, I've listened to Republicans, and they identified themselves, but it's almost like they're a plant. I've never heard them praise a Republican. They're always bashing their own party. So my point is, it's almost like you're saying you're a Republican, not you, for financial gain and or political gain. And I brought this up to Preacher years ago. If you live in a community that's 100% Democrat, it's easy to say, yeah, I'm a Democrat too. Or if you live in a community that's the overwhelming majority Republican, that's the easy ticket to jump on, right? But when you listen to their theories, again, a lot of the friends of the station, you have some real Republicans. Mr. Baker's a real Republican. Mr. Peterson's a real Republican. You have some others. But some of these other so-called notables, highly intellectuals, I've never heard them praise a Republican, ever. I've heard them go on other media outlets and bash their party, but I never hear them say anything.
Well,
negative.
okay, so it goes
and
kind
I
of
see
a
right
step.
through it.
It's kind of a step beyond that, though. Is regardless of Democrat, Republican, even like you look at somebody like Bob. He's there serving his community. He's there putting the work in to make his community better. And then even, when I was at his fundraiser, he was talking about, doing things without getting into debt. So he's out there, talking the talk. And like I said earlier, there are people that are out there going, I'm running for town council to fix the school lunch program. It's like, okay, I got bad news for you. You're not getting anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing is like, what, like you said, what are your intentions? Bob's the guy that's put in the work. There are people that have it. And that's kind of my concern about even all these people running for Congress. It's like, what have you done? What work have you put in before you throw your hat in, you name in the ring to vote to run for Congress or something? You know what I mean?
Well, let's face it. The president, he gave stuff away. He gave stuff away. Our president. It's hard to beat someone who all you do is give stuff away in your previous job. Right. Let's be honest, man. But to your point, all you got to do is go to some of our communities. I remember listening to this guy running for recorder one time. He's talking about all these children's program he's going to implement.
As a recorder.
To your point, yes.
Right.
To your point.
I'm going to start a daycare center in the recorder's office, right? That's not how that works.
But the sad part is, in some communities, that works.
Right. Well, if you have the right name or whatever, the right letter after your name, it works. I mean, that's the problem. You saw a recorder. You call yourself Mike Brown, and you're getting the job.
Right.
So.
And then when we pointed out, don't criticize my community. Wait a minute. You admitted you fell for the name change.
Right.
But you'll criticize me for calling up and telling you what you admitted yourself. It's almost like it's okay to criticize your brother, but I can't criticize your brother.
Well,
you see what I'm saying?
right.
But they do it all the time. They know. They know. As a matter of fact, there are people years later, they still didn't know that when you mentioned the Brown situation,
yeah, right.
that the one or the other one.
Right.
So it's so funny because it's like a game of, I don't even know what to call it, but I just wish.
It's just a game of politics. I mean,
it's a game of politics.
Yeah.
And then Ron says that what's so wonderful, like you guys pointed out, that the Republicans lost in New Jersey and New York. Okay, here's my thing. I remember when the Republican at the national level, every single Republican had to answer for the racist David Duke. Every single.
Right.
I want to know these local Democrats. I've been saying, and some of us on these airways have been saying, that the Democratic Party is going socialist. Now it's communist. Do you accept that?
And that'll be the question, though. Even like I mentioned Hochul earlier, though, is that if you've got Mom Dami running New York saying, "Here's all the things I'm going to do," does Hochul have a responsibility to step up and go, "Wait, no, you can't do that,"
exactly,
or "That's my job and I'm not doing"? Like that's the whole thing. Is are you going to step up and say, "No, we're not doing that"? And
but
she's already started to. Kudos to her, but
they
never
do.
Right?
That's no. Republicans, even on this station, had to answer for David Duke. Trust me, I heard it. I listened to it. Dave Cooley, the owner of the station, always goes back Julian Colby, and I go back to Julian Colby. What did Julian Colby do for you? When it was the local politics, when we had things going on in the local political offices of the Clinton, or I always bring it up, the shooting in the city of East Chicago, 240 plus local Democrats in there, nobody's seen nothing. I would still love to know, since D-Lo's so in love with local independent news, what was he doing, not him, but Mr. Colby, to getting at the bottom of it? Could it be because maybe one of the hosts had a business in East Chicago and we don't want to touch that? Or that could have. And here, I'm going to get off. Dave from Gary done an excellent job, too, as well, on the Mr. Hardin.
Yeah, absolutely.
But here's my point. See, Dave, you're a minority, and I don't mean by your race. I mean Dave's a minority when he recognizes it's not going to be under one term. Unfortunately, you have people in that city that look at everything based on an election cycle, even though
or who their friend is. I'm going to vote for my friend, regardless of if they're the best qualified.
So, Dave, you're a minority, even though you're right. He mentioned Mr. Allen, who's at business. Mr. Allen's a conservative,
right?
Business thinking. He understands that.
Yeah, and he talked about at length about developing business along Broadway and things like that.
Ask him about why residential is not enough.
Yeah.
Ask, because he knows 1, 2, 3. Ask him.
Right.
But see, when we bring he sounds a little off the wall, Mr. Nowacki. He's off the wall.
No, but he's got a lot of info.
Point.
He knew.
He's
He
on
talked about
point.
stuff I never even heard about at the steel yard and stuff like that. It's amazing stories from Jim. If you haven't seen it, part 1 of the Chris Harden series. But okay, we do got to go because I got to take a break and we got to wrap up. So,
thank you.
Hey, I appreciate the call as always. We're going to wrap up. We're going to let you guys have your say. We'll be right back to finish up with more after this.
This is Phil Patumpa with an all-new Thanksgiving theme from the Farm Stage Cooking Show. This month at the Center for Visual and Performing Arts in Munster. Spend Sunday afternoon, November 16th, as we serve up the charm and traditions of our family farm kitchen that I write about each week in my From the Farm column for Chicago Tribune Media. Southern deep-fried turkey is the highlight of a 7-course meal, whipped up along with all the seasonal recipe favorites in a fast-paced, fun 2-hour program with $1,000 in prizes and giveaways. Tickets just $35. Visit cvpa.org.
Introducing Powers Health, a health system with a new name and a strong legacy of caring for families in our community. One with a tradition of advanced specialized services and a vision for the future. One with a commitment to medical excellence and compassionate care. Everything we do, everything we believe, powers health.
Looking for a place to enjoy great food and great games? Head to Doc's Barbecue in Dyer. Indulge in Southern-style hickory smoked meats served in a fun, welcoming atmosphere. Want to catch the latest local Jet TV basketball games? Just ask and they'll have it on one of their 15 big-screen TVs. Whether you're here for the food, the fun, or the hoops, Doc's has something for everyone. Stop by Doc's Smokehouse on Calumet Avenue in Dyer, where flavor and sports come together.
Life's biggest challenges don't come with a warning. When legal issues arise, whether it's a car accident, personal injury, criminal charge, or representing you before municipal boards, you need a trusted advocate on your side. At Westland & Bennett, we listen first because your story matters. We provide strategic, personalized legal solutions to protect your rights, your freedom, and your future. Peace of mind starts with a conversation. Call 219-440-7550 today for a free consultation.
At Strachan Van Til, we believe grocery shopping should be simple. Now, shopping is easier than ever with our new and improved website. Find what you need fast. Browse your favorite products, add them to your cart, and check out in just a few quick steps. Choose between convenient in-store pickup or let us handle the heavy lifting. From our shelves to your doorstep. Skip the lines, shop your way, and spend more time on what matters most. With our rewards program, enjoy incredible savings and personalized offers every time you shop. Shop online now at strachanvantil.com or download our app today.
From the gas in your car to the heat in your home and the roads that you drive on, our work powers daily life. We are USW Local 71, the proud men and women of the Whiting Refinery. We're not just refinery workers. We're your friends and neighbors, raising our families here, shopping in the same stores, and cheering in the same stands. USW Local 71, powering the region because we are the region.
Okay, so quick recap of the day's traffic. Things looking much better than they were earlier when we first started. A lot of the accidents cleared up. We just got a couple minor things going on. 394 southbound at 30, you've got an accident. And inbound Dan Ryan, you got an accident in the local lanes right around the merge. Other than that, things are looking much better than they were earlier. Just take your time and enjoy the show. Schools. Most schools at this point, we're saying most schools, all schools closed. E-learning day, closure. All elementary, middle, high schools, IUN, Purdue, everything's basically closed today. So hang out with the kids, go sledding. We got one more call, and then we're going to wrap up. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, you guys, real quick. You were talking about weight. If you guys are going to be drinking those coffees in the morning, that's your downfall right there. I don't care if you have any kind of sugar. Trust me, I've lost over 92, 94 pounds right now in a little over a year and a half, and I did it all with just a slight amount of working out and no sugar. If you can get rid of the sugar, that's the poison, folks. That and the digital ID coming to the UK. I don't know if you know about it, but you're going to have it to work, so just be careful.
You got to get up early. You got to get up earlier, and we'll have to talk about all this stuff next week.
Well, I've been working late. I can't help it. I've been working late. As you know, I was in New York City just a few days ago watching the funeral of it, but I do appreciate it, and I was listening in and out of sleep, so...
Well, fantastic. Yeah, I want to get your thoughts on that. We got to talk about all that. Maybe next week. Call in a little bit earlier.
Yes, wrap it up, Chuck. Wrap it up.
Okay, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Nice to hear from you. Go ahead. Final thoughts from the crew here. Go ahead, Bob.
E-learning is a scam. I don't want to be sold that it's a great way to, not tack on a day at the end of the year. E-learning is a scam. Let the kids go outside and play.
It's 9 o'clock in the region. You're listening to AM 1230, 104.7 in beautiful Hammond, Indiana. Lynette, final words.
Who produces only 2 shows, Chuck?
Who produces only 2? You tell me. Okay, so how many shows do you produce?
I've produced almost all of them.
Okay, how many do you produce regularly?
2.
Okay, and which one's your favorite?
Not this one anymore.
There you go. There you go. So you see, you understand the joke was
But you let it go when Joe said the same thing.
The joke was on us, not on you. The joke is on us. He says
Chuck don't like Joey.
No, look, I've heard what Joe does to a host. That's why Joe doesn't come. Joe can stick to Fridays and see how that goes. No, that's the joke. Joke was on us, not on you. The joke is it's her second favorite show, but she only produces 2 shows. The joke is on us, not on you. But also, if you're going to be part of the family, I'm going to make fun of you, just so you know. That means the fact that I knew somebody back in the day, they're like, well, Chuck never talks to me. It's like, or Chuck makes fun of me. It's like, that's because he likes you. So if you are part of the family, I'm going to make fun of you. So deal with it. Deal with it. And you got to if you're going to be on the radio, you got to take charge. You're going to be the producer. You got to own it. You got to step up. You got to tell us what to do.
She's looking for the button to hang up on
that's
Chuck
fine.
right now.
That's fine. Hit the button. No, the joke was on us, not on you. I appreciate it. You kicked butt today. We got it done. And you're my second favorite producer.
Oh, okay.
See how that works? Mm-hmm. See, how does that feel? But no, you are my favorite producer on Mondays.
Thank you.
No, you are doing a great job. You are doing a great job. It is a lot of work, especially when you got all this stuff coming at us with school closures. You handled it well. You proved yourself. You have earned your stripes. You're now part of the official family.
Now you're the one doling out the stripes?
Okay, you're my second favorite co-host on Mondays. See, how does that feel? No, you guys are great. We did a great job here. I think everybody's loving our work. Everybody's asking me when we're going to start doing Fridays. I go, look, I got enough gas for 2 hours, and then I'm good. I need a week to recover. So no announcements. People are asking, when's Bob going to take over Fridays or whatever? No, none of that's happening. We got a good. No, I hope not. Oh. We got a good thing going. We got a good team on Mondays. We got
right. It'll be the Bob and Chuck show.
This is the second greatest show on WJOB. So we have to stick with that. We got to push. People are asking about the ratings and stuff. I'm like, well, go look on YouTube and see how many people watch. See which show gets the highest concurrent viewers. No offense to the other shows. So, okay, I appreciate it.
Total offense to the other shows.
No, I'm just saying, just throwing it out there. Go look at concurrent viewers.
Maybe they're not produced as well.
Maybe that's it. I don't know.
I don't know.
Just saying. Lynette, you did a great job today. Thank you so much. Bob, you did a great job today. Callers, you did a great job.
Right now. You know that, right?
What?
Yeah.
What?
Nothing.
No. What? You guys are doing a good job. If you're doing a bad job, we do a whole segment about how you're doing a bad job, and I'd be making fun of you for that too.
I think we just did.
Okay. It's 9:03. We got to go. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, producer Lynette, second favorite co-host Bob.